I ate my second thing of crackers. After I ate my second thing of crackers, I was watching some Burn Notice, and I just poured myself a second ginger ale, and I'm raring to go.
Dude, what the heck? We just did freaking so many.
We did like 3 hours almost.
Oh my gosh. I'm literally scheduling my reaction video. My people are like begging me for my reaction already.
Oh, I bet. So, yeah, but by all means, stay here as long as you want or go when you need to. I'll totally invite other people as well. I'll invite the chat, and I'll just be like, so what do you know about the comic? Were you a fan of the comics?
I don't know much, dude. I just know I'm freaking hyped. Like, I saw the covers, and I'm like, I didn't know you went live. I thought we were just, I'm like, bro, I saw the covers, and I'm like, they're beautiful. I'm just like, I want them all, and I know they're not worth a lot IRL, I think, right? But I don't even care.
Dude, I'm looking right now. See, I should get more Omi. Like, I should by all means go but there's a CBCS, which is none has been sold in like a year, of a 9.8 going for $18.30 as the auction ends in like 6 days. So this is going to go for like well over like 2,500 because it's already at $18.30 and it's like 6 days left.
Is that on eBay or something? Wait, don't say where it's at. Someone's going to go sweep it from under you.
Well, they can't buy it because it's on an auction. But I looked, and a CGC of this comic 9.6 sells at 1,100, but there's no 9.8. But this one's a CBCS, and if you go into the ones that say CBCS, which is where it's graded, there's no like the last sold was like last year in September, and there's no other real sales data for it, so I don't really know what it would go for. So
I'm so hyped. Like, I saw that. The covers are, dude, the secret rare looks so, I want them all. The secret rare looks so good.
I didn't even take a look at what I am so like, I have so many tabs open right now. Let's see what, okay. Yeah, and this is without the Medium article.
Yeah, no Medium. They're all black and white, dude. They're all, like gray and white.
Oh no, there's
except for the uncommon, right? Or whatever.
Yeah, did you ever see the what did I say, Fanboys, that movie I told you to see?
Yes, that movie is beautiful.
Yeah, it's amazing, right? So yes. Yeah, it has what it has on the van, Luke and his shirts off.
That's an iconic pose. That's the one, that's the movie cover, isn't it?
I think it might be one of them. I think that, yeah, because there's a bunch of posters and stuff, so that might be one of them that they have right there. But that's so epic. He's like so jacked, his shirt's off. He's like, like it's pretty legit. Leia looking all hot, her legs in a weird angle, but yeah, it looks amazing. And I guess we're able to read it. Star Wars, baby. Or as bad as when we need them. So yeah, all of these I typically don't collect comics. The only ones that I really have a vested interest in is really like, I guess, Young Avengers, which I like. I like Hitmonkey. I like Deadpool. And again, those aren't really for investment stuff. It's just because I like them. But this is something that I love Star Wars. Like I spent a lot of my childhood in this. And before, like the Phantom Menace, like this is like all we had. And then Phantom Menace came out, all the trailers are so, my God. How much are you willing to drop on this in the...
I don't know. It's so hard. I feel like it's gonna get. I feel like it's gonna be so hyped. What's up, veve
Vibes? What's going on, brother?
Is this on? Whose stream is this on? This is on Dino's or?
It's on mine.
Okay, I'll head over. There it goes.
Yes. So this is a. Yeah, so we're just talking about what we're willing to drop on this, and I don't know what this is. This is probably not doing anything crazy to the market right now because it's a comic, and it's not like this. But I still oh no, it has my device doesn't meet security requirements again. No.
What the heck is that, bro? You need to fix this not before Star Wars.
It's the worst thing ever. So veve Vibes, how big of a fan of Star Wars are you?
I would say I'm a pretty big fan. I probably know more than your average viewer. I haven't watched all like the tons of super extended universe stuff, but I did play like Star Wars Online. I did play KOTOR. I played a lot of Star Wars stuff. Star Wars Power Battles on PlayStation. Star Wars, all kinds of stuff.
May the Force be with you, David. You.
Oh my gosh, the freaking guy, the man himself.
Yeah. So, and somebody responded, and also with you, as in YU. I was like, oh, that's great.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So a bunch of the Game Boy games I had, like where you could play as like Qui-Gon or Obi-Wan or Mace Windu, but one of my favorites was Star Wars Starfighter, where you get like 3 different ships. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you get like the Naboo cruiser, you get like, and it's just you get so many different things. It was so good. I love that. I mean, it makes sense that you start here. This is kind of what started it all. You know, it came out before the movie. So, I don't know, vibes. What are you thinking that you might drop on this?
Well, so I have 2 phones. I'm just gonna buy as many as I can. It depends on how many I get, and I have to look at the exclusive covers. I really want to know the mint numbers overall, because they usually give us a hint as to like, oh, this is a super rare run or a extremely rare. It didn't say any of that, so I'm assuming it's either 30 or 60. And I kind of want to see how the rarities are divided up, because usually the uncommons is usually a 3-to-1 ratio to the common, but it just depends
every
on how
cover is different though. Vibes, they don't have any repeat covers. Like, they're all special.
Yeah, it's not like one's like in black and white and one's in color. That they are all different. So this is why I'm thinking like, maybe
I'm not sure which artist did the extra art, but dude, what an honor to like do the cover variant art pieces of like Star Wars #1 like comic. Like, they gotta that's gotta be a really big deal. I'm not sure which artist did it. I'm sure they'll say it in the Medium article for sure.
Yeah. So what are your guys' thoughts on things like, let's say like Todd? Like, Todd is in, you know, the physical goes for $800, maybe $1,000 or whatever, but you know, that's gone as high as $15,000. This comic, even though it doesn't go for that big in real life, like I said, you know, this 9.8 might go for like 25, maybe 3,000. It's the first comic on veve that's not, although I guess it still is under Disney, because Disney owns Star Wars.
Marvel. Yeah, it's technically Marvel. It's a Marvel comic. So Marvel used to do Star Wars comics, I guess, a long time ago. And a lot of people, even My Collectibles, is like, I didn't even know Marvel.
Oh, so this was a Marvel comic?
It is a Marvel comic, yeah.
Oh.
You can is it this one or a different one? But there is like a Marvel. Like, if you look at the original one, I could have sworn it said Marvel in the top left corner, Star Wars comic #1.
Crypto King showing his age. He purchased it when he was a kid. It's like, I'm old. Oh. But I mean, is there any other Star Wars NFTs out there? We have the only ones, right?
I think so, right? Unless they're like they're not licensed. I mean, none of
they can't be. There's no way.
Yeah. I mean, they could if they wanted to, but I haven't heard. Like, I feel like we would have heard. Like,
like a bunch of us scouring the internet. We definitely would. Like, unless it's in like my inbox, like, hey, Randy, look at this, and then I never looked at it because it's in my message requests. Assume you guys get that as well. Yeah,
actually, if you look at the cover at the very top in the green, it says Marvel Comics Group, so it's a Marvel comic. That's way back in the day. So I guess Marvel was even doing Star Wars comics back in the day. But if you look at the rare and ultra rare, that is at least the ultra rare is the theatrical poster that came out for A New Hope when it came out.
How many were? As I felt like there were a few.
Or it was C3PO. C3PO is getting swept up. He was at 1-1 and now he's at 1-3. He's almost at 1-4.
Nice.
I think R2 is about to get swept too. He's at 2-5s. There was a ton of them, and now it's almost at 2-6.
Damn.
Freaking crazy, dude. Why would you paper hand Star Wars and then as soon as they announce it, you buy it?
I don't. Like, it's so stupid.
Well, but people are saying like, oh, will Star Wars go down if they announce more Star Wars? Basically, we'll see C3PO and R2-D2 go down. I'm like, the only reason why I think it would is like if someone has doubles of them and they're like, all right, I have 2 R2s or 3 C3POs or whatever it is. They bought it really early on and they're trying to get rid of one to buy more golden one, buy whatever the new Star Wars stuff is. Or that's legitimately like the very last thing in their vault that is like still in the green. And they're just like, I have nothing else to sell, or else it's like,
that's true. That's true.
There's a few other reasons. I mean, some people might take the risk of like, oh, I'll just sell it now, and then I can play the drop and just rebuy R2 later, or if they do, because this is just for May 4th, right? Like, who says they can't drop? I mean, Obi-Wan's at the end of this month, right? I think the Obi-Wan show.
Yeah, so that's we have all month, so we don't know.
Yeah.
All I know is, Randy, you have 2 eggs on your stream, and I think a third. I think you should join. You know, no.
Might as well.
Yeah, I mean, so this definitely won't crash the market but yeah, there's a lot more that is going to come. It's more stuff to drop. I mean, they might. I mean, we didn't know what to expect. We didn't know, like, is there Star Wars trading cards? I imagine there must be. There must be like a bunch of those that they might do as well.
I'm sure there's cards or something out there. I'm just not sure like who has who do them or how that would work. But they could, like you said before, I remember I watched your guys stream earlier talking about like they could do something on the 4th, the 5th, and then there's like Revenge of the 6th or like Revenge of the Sith. Partner statues under 9K. Yeah.
I gotta take a look. They finally let me back in. It still said my device doesn't meet security requirements, but they let me back in. So whatevs. Now it's, oh man, yeah, I can't buy anything, I guess, because it says my device.
Oh,
so
my
I won't.
Gosh,
Oh,
dude.
okay, no, all right, now it'll let me buy.
Okay,
That's so
I was
strange.
like, no.
That's so strange. But yeah, so it's 8.9 or it's 8.9. So it's basically 9K still. Yeah, it's wild.
For a second, I thought Veve sent Randy to the Shadow Realm, and he just couldn't do it.
It's so salty. We're like, no, not before the comics.
Buy like 5 gems. I heard that's the way to get out of Shadowban or from the store.
Yeah, that's what I learned from Veve Vault, and I made a video about it too. Like, if you have 2, which I do, I have 2 phones. So I have my main one that I put my money on, did all the stuff, and I have my other phone where when we had transfers, I would just give it just enough gems to play the drop, and if I get it, great, I transfer the NFT back. But if not, I never put actual money on that other phone. But it just kept on saying sold out. I'm like, what's going on? Until I put money in it, that let me do it. So
I think there would be a I wish you could do that still. I wonder if they'll do it if you're in like a certain staking tier. Now you can transfer gems. Now you can do that. That'd be interesting. I don't think they would do airdrops for this. Someone was saying like airdrop if you have the golden moments. That there's so many people that have that set. They'd have to go and airdrop like thousands of things. They probably wouldn't do that.
I just don't think like Disney like necessarily needs to airdrop stuff. Like I feel like a lot of that stuff is utilized by independent artists because it's hard to be competitive on veve as an independent artist. Like you have Marvel, DC, you have so much other stuff just like competing. So you have to really lean on unique things, right? Airdrops, community-driven stuff. Oh, because I could have sworn they're doing something with like the Omikongs too, like all the people that had like the XL apes. Like they're trying to find as many ways to kind of keep people together, keep it community-oriented, do fun things like airdrops. So
yeah, I love the whole. I love apes. I love anything to do with like monkeys, like Planet of the Apes is like my jam. Love like all the movies, even the bad ones. And I love how the apes, like the Kongs, they were just like apes together strong. I was like, yes, get them, guys. And then I bought and sold them a bunch of times because I would buy when they were like lower, only the Harambe looking ones because the other ones were really expensive. So I'd buy them and then they would like go up $100 something. Like, I'll sell it. I want to buy this, and then I'd do it again. Those are like my greatest flips.
Yeah, I did a lot of flipping with the XL apes too, but also with the hoverboards too. I think I flipped like the Pitbull hoverboard at least like 4 or 5 times. That was kind of a fun thing to do in like December. Oh,
dude, I would love to get Mark Hamill on the stream.
Oh my gosh, that would be insane.
I don't know if I could. I mean, so I'm starting to reach out into the acting thing. I had Fanny Carbonell on. She's an actress in Fantastic Beasts, and I'm getting Darcy Donovan on the podcast in a couple weeks. She's been in Anchorman and she's been in a couple of other things. So if I can go and like get her, and maybe I could like get like Paul Rudd or something, and I don't know. I'll try my very best. So a lot of it's. I think people are buying they're selling what they can so they could buy the Star Wars stuff.
The comics are going to be pretty wild. I'm going to say that. But the collectibles are going to be even more wild. But like this is just the tip of the iceberg for the rest of the month.
Vibes, have you seen Book of Boba Fett?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Okay, so I didn't know this, but there's that when I first saw it, like that black Wookiee, that dark Wookiee and I was like, oh my god, that dude badass. And I learned that he's is Chrysanthemum from the comics, and
Mhm.
apparently he's a big character in the comics. And I don't know if they would do, hey, here's Star Wars issue number 1, and then do Star Wars issue number 2, or they would just do like first appearances,
Yeah, there's so many ways they could really do it. I really hope they don't just just blow their load on the first one. Just like as much as I would like, just like Luke, Leia, Han, and just like it's just nuts. I kind of wish they give like one pretty significant, almost kind of like Pixar, right? Like Woody's the big one, and the rest are like, okay. I mean, so is Lightning McQueen. Don't get me wrong, but like the other ones were like, okay, they're kind of more side characters, more auxiliary like characters and stuff. So I would like. Because I think I brought it up on your stream as well as Dino's stream. Like, it'd be so cool if they paired up a Jedi and a Sith each time, right? Where it's like Qui-Gon Jinn and Darth Maul, and then you had Obi-Wan, and basically the two that always fought in the movies, and the one that ended up killing the other, right? Like that would be cool.
Yeah.
But I even did a book of Boba Fett. I do these videos. I used to. I mean, now it's just kind of too much effort. But the whole Wednesday thing, I sniffed a 58.
Yeah,
wow,
58 R2D2 for 37. That's amazing.
That is nuts.
Yeah.
Wow.
Someone else did that. Remember, like a month ago or like 3 weeks ago, someone bought like a 46 or something.
Yeah, they bought like a 48 C3PO, right? For like the floor.
On the floor.
Oh.
They undercut the floor. They didn't just put it on the floor. They undercut the floor.
The only way I could see that happening is if they have multiple C3POs and they just accidentally listed the wrong one. They're just like, oh, I meant to put down my, my 4-digit instead of my 2-digit or something like that.
Feels bad. So they had multiple drops for Doctor Strange already. They had the comic recently, and they had the Eye of Agamotto. I think it's very possible that we get another drop on Saturday that could be either Doctor Strange, and that finishes it off, and then we get full on into Star Wars, or we get another Star Wars one right away. Do you think they're going to do it in pockets? Like, okay, we're going to finish this one and then go, or is it just going to be whatever?
You go first, Dino. I've been talking a lot. I've hopped on.
I just don't know if they're going to give us more Star Wars, but it's the month to do it. I personally don't see them breaking it up though. Like, I don't know if I see them going back to Doctor Strange. It almost feels like Strange happened and it's over. Like we had the hookah and we had the comic, and now we're here,
But again, the movie hasn't come out yet. Maybe there's some spoilers in there that they don't want to release until the movie comes out. Maybe that's why we get something. This isn't.
Well, they've released like minor spoilers before. Remember, they released the Moon Knight announcement, like the guy in the suit, before the episode even aired. Like they're like, "Who is this other Moon Knight character with the suit?"
That's a good point.
But they've also kind of done a thing where it's like they release the comic, including the collectibles that are relevant to whatever thing is coming out, right? So for Star Wars, or for Doctor Strange, we could easily get Strange Tales 110, which is the first appearance of Doctor Strange, in addition to a collectible where he has his cape, and maybe the animation is him with his cape like flowing or doing some sort of animation. Like that would be sick. And the movie comes out, I think, the 5th, right? So it's
comes out Thursday night, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, so, the 5th. Yeah.
So they could still announce it tomorrow that, hey, Doctor Strange is coming out. Plus more Star Wars and stuff. So, as much as I hate to say it, like I think worst case scenario is like, okay, we just get this comic and that's it for Star Wars, or they might just do the comic and then the 3rd or 4th week of the month we get something related to the Obi-Wan show.
I feel like they'd be so. I was hoping for something in December for like Mandalorian or Book of Boba Fett, and we didn't get any. I was like, oh, maybe we're not going to get Star Wars. Maybe they're not ready yet. But then now it's happening.
Yeah, now we're getting the comic. So I'm just curious, which format are they going to follow? Are they going to... Disney's kind of following the format where like they do not withhold FAs. Like they just like Pixar, like multiple FAs, golden moments, multiple FAs. But when it comes to Marvel, it's like one character, 5 variations, right? Where it's like Storm, Invisible Woman, Deadpool. It's like one character, 5 variations. So it's like, which one Star Wars going to do? Are they going to do like all FAs and just like completely tank the market? Or is it like, we're going to get Obi-Wan week 3 or week 4 of May, and then it's 5 different variations? I'm okay with either one. But
I'd be fine with that if they did like, oh, here's young Obi-Wan, we're training like young Anakin. Here's like, in his prime, middle-aged Obi-Wan, and then here's old Obi-Wan, blue glowy Obi-Wan, like Obi-Wan in like his pilot, with R4. I think if they did that, that'd be pretty great.
Rat Tail Obi-Wan from episode 1.
If I'm being honest, I will take anything Star Wars that they will give me, as long as it's not like, you know what I mean? Like, this is incredible. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this, do I love comics? Like, no, I don't, but it's beautiful and it's not like ugly.
Mhm.
As long as they don't give me emoji, lenticular, mighty, or Lego Star Wars, I do not care what they give me. I will take it gladly.
Yeah, I feel you. I don't know what these look like. I mean, I keep going the fact that, you know, a lot of people, you know, before Todd came out, physical Todd was like a couple $100. Now he like, you know, 5x. I think that I think this physical comic that's selling right now that will be over in 6 days. So if it was, maybe I should just buy, I don't know, are you guys going to buy anything to match your, like if they have an Obi-Wan statue, are you going to buy the physical one to go with it? Or is that going to be like too much, like not enough space in the house?
Oh, I don't know.
Get like a physical counterpart. If there is a physical counterpart, like I might buy it. I don't know. Honestly, when it comes to physical collectibles, I'm kind of, if I were to start investing, I'd kind of lean more towards the comics. Like part of me does want to start getting like New Mutants with a Deadpool, or getting NYX with the little daughter of Wolverine. Some of those like comics personally.
Yeah, she's great. So I have this thing right now, and I don't know what to do. So the price for Fantastic Four #1 Secret Rare went up to 11.7. So I can go and sell that for maybe 11, let's say a net 10-ish. I could get a partner statue and have an extra 1,000 gems left over.
Whew.
I don't know. I don't know what to do.
That's crazy. Dude, you already have a partner. You're gonna stack them now?
I don't know. I mean, I could, you know, sweep the floor in Loki's again, you know, if I really wanted to, but I don't know what to do, man. This is why.
Do you have other Secret Rare comics, or is it just
no? It's my only one. It's my only one.
It's tough. I mean, to be honest, like I don't blame you, like for wanting to sell. It's not like you're a Secret Rare comic book collector. I'm like, you know, my collectibles or Sleeping Comics, which those guys are great. But I think it's okay that people utilize an NFT just as a means to get what they want, right? Like if you're a bigger Star Wars fan, then a Fantastic Four #1 comic, like it's totally okay to like buy it early, hold it, and then sell it. It's like you're like, what are you doing? Why are you selling it so early? It's like I just like this other thing more. Like, because if it's not today, it's gonna be another day within the next few months where I'm like, I need to sell this.
So yeah, no, that's a good point. I have I mean, and this is something that I really would like to collect because I love Star Wars. It was really big in my childhood. So I don't know. Are they old? Are you still working on the details for Star Wars drop? Maybe they haven't. I'm sure that's already been planned. The actual physical drops, if they're doing those.
It's definitely been planned.
Yeah.
Oh, bro, veve just tweeted something else, dude. So it's not an announcement. And I have to go because I've been abandoning my family, and I have to film a reaction video now.
Yeah. You got to go.
But veve just tweeted. Someone said you're telling me y'all aren't balling out on a Star Wars celebration drop ? With a sign that says coming soon, and then veve replied with Darth Vader gif saying, I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Like there's more to come.
So like some more is coming.
Yeah.
I find your lack of faith disturbing. Let's freaking go.
I think that tweet is gonna make the market crash more than the original one about
that
they pretty much confirmed.
Because they're tweeting Vader. Like I know they're tweeting like the actual thing. Like the actual the quote, but they're also tweeting Vader. They
used Vader, dude. They know what they did. They know what they did.
They do know what they did.
They freaking know what they did. That's why David Yu was trolling us last night, vibes.
Oh yeah. Well, he's trolling you. I mean, you posted the thing of the comic, and it's funny because they literally announced it 10 hours later or whatever, 12 hours later.
Oh god, they knew, man. So if I don't know how many they're gonna have. I mean, remember when like veve Halloween happened, and they just kept drop after drop after drop, and it was nuts.
Mm-hmm.
I think that might be what they're doing.
Oh, I'm so ready.
We'll see.
Okay.
Like I said,
I love you guys. I've been abandoning my family all day, so I'm gonna hang out with them. I'm gonna hang out with them. You guys have fun. I'm gonna do my live when you're done, Randy. So everyone hang out with Randy for as long as he's streaming, and then I'll do a live afterwards.
All right, peace, fam.
Later.
See ya.
Oh, veve, it's good to get you on here. You've been on my wall. I'm charging my tablet right now, so the wall's way behind the fridge.
That's fine, dude. I literally came in at the perfect time on your stream because I remember like the refrigerator like just filled up, and then you're like, I don't know how many more I'm gonna do, and then I was like, oh god, I need to do this because I watched you for like a long time, and so I remember giving you like 4 alligator locusts for like a month or two. And then you're like, yeah, I'm kind of done taking, wall recommendations or names or whatever. And then I remember messaging you later. You're like, what if I give you 20 more Lokis? Am I good for the rest of the year? And you're like, yeah, that's fine. Just hit me up. And so we did it live on stream. And you're like, thank you. And I bought those at damn near an all-time high, but it's still worth it. I think I bought them for like 80 each or something like that. Now they're worth.
Oh, okay. Well, all-time high for them was like 130. It was stupid. Yeah. It was stupid. Like that was like, we should have known that couldn't have sustained.
Yeah, I think we should have known when the market runs up that high, there was some level of retracement. And I thought it was only going to go down like 50%, right? Like Steamboat Willie was at like 10,000. I thought everything was going to retrace about half of the amount. But
yeah.
I think that was the natural retracement, but then it started getting dogpiled by, of course, there's things happening overseas. There's the crypto markets crashing. People are upset about
bear market.
Like a lot of stuff just started compounding. Then it just turned into a bear market at that point. So,
yeah.
But dude, I'm stoked for Star Wars. I'm totally okay with spaceships or Jedi or some troops. I know my collectibles would love to just have them drop like 100,000 stormtroopers, so you can just buy as many, because people are gonna want armies, right? Like we're gonna want little armies.
100%. So what would you go? Would you go like Federation droid army? You want clone troopers, or would you like a gun army?
The Gungans, the Ewoks, or I'm trying to remember what else. God, there were so many like little armies. I would probably go with stormtroopers. Are just classic, man. Like there's gonna be a lot of people that love stormtroopers. I think having the different kinds of stormtroopers, there's like the scout stormtroopers that were like in Endor that were like riding the speeder bikes. Like there's different variations of them too. I think the next one, like droid army, would be kind of cool. I'd get some like droidicas or whatever, the ones that roll and have little
the destroyers, master destroyers, pew 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 pew.
Yeah. Those would be cool. I know. Like I would love to get some like AT-ATs or like the AT-STs from like the classic era, but I do think the new ones from Clone Wars, like those big, I forgot the name of those. It's something similar, but.
Oh wait, not the AT-ATs, the one on the Empire side?
No, from like the Clone Wars. Remember, like they look similar.
Oh, and they weren't them? I'm trying to think of.
I'm trying to remember the name. I'm sure someone in chat always knows more than I do and correct us. But that's just me playing a lot of like Battlefront and stuff. Battlefront 1 and 2 back in the day.
You ever played Knights of the Old Republic?
Yeah, of course. I played 1 and 2.
Yeah, so good. The graphics are great. Storyline's great. Some people made like music videos of the gameplay of that, and it's like, oh, it's so good. They're so epic.
Still to this day, my favorite character is HK-47, the robot that like evil aligned, and he would always make jokes, call everyone that's like humanoid like a meat bag, and I'll have to link it to you, or I'll throw it in chat at some point, or like in our group chat thing in Twitter. There's like a whole like YouTube video, like 8 or 10 minutes of him explaining like how he would kill a Jedi. He's like, all these people using blasters and all that stuff, like that's silly. He's like, you got to use explosives, you got to use gas, and he's like, don't plan the trap too far in advance, because like Jedi could just kind of sense like something is off, or there's like a scheme going on. So he's like, you have to be spontaneous and like use explosives, use flamethrowers. Like he's like, don't use bolts. Like that's just silly. And so it's like, he's smart too. So it's like, I would love to get an HK-47 character.
That's a good idea. That's a good. I think someone's saying that they would love for them to acquire Star Wars action figures in the box, like the Hasbro versions. I mean, if those. Getting anything that's worth, in the physical that's worth thousands or tens of thousands. Like this is why I should have stacked comics when they first came out, and I didn't, because I'm a dumb. That's going to be a big one. I didn't really have too many of the action figures. I had like a board game. I forget what it was called, but you have like your main, every main character you get like 3 side characters. So if you had a Jedi, you can get like 2 droids, or like a clone and a droid, or something like that.
This was like a board game, or
I forget what it was called. I have a lot of friends, so I didn't play it that much, but it was.
I remember playing episode 1. Like I think it was like PlayStation or maybe like GameCube at the time or something like that. But you could actually play like the whole episode 1. But you could play as Obi-Wan, but you could use like blasters and like thermal detonators and a lightsaber and all this other stuff. You could straight up like use guns and stuff. I'm like, this is kind of cool. You're not just stuck to a lightsaber. It was more of a role playing thing. It was pretty. I think it was more role playing. I don't know. There's just so much Star Wars like memorabilia. I don't think people realize how big Star Wars is. It's literally it's you have the 3 biggest IPs, like just Disney, Marvel, Star Wars. Like,
and there's no. I remember in watching a documentary in like 2008 or whatever, it was like before the last movie of the prequels came out. Maybe it was like 2006, and it was about movie theaters that didn't know what they were doing in like 99 when Phantom Menace came out, or 98, whatever. And they said like, yeah, we had Star Wars in one theater because like the people that ran it didn't know like that all the fans that like lines were out the door, and it was insane. Same thing in 2015. You know, a lot of the kids that like kind of knew the prequels, but maybe they didn't. They just smashing all those records. Are you a prequel guy? Are you the old school, or do you like the newer stuff?
Gosh, I like them all for the different reasons. I would say I like the originals more, but dude, the prequels have the best memes by far. Like all the funniest Star Wars memes you see online. And it's funny. I actually posted a meme on Twitter probably 3 weeks ago, of. What was it? It was Anakin and Padme, where they're like talking in the field and they go back and forth where he says something and she like asks a question. He has just like a blank face. That one's really funny because I think it was veve was Anakin and they were like, so Doctor Strange 2 is coming out early May. And then the veve fam was Padme and they're like, yeah, but we're getting Star Wars May 4th, right? veve, no reaction.
We're getting Star Wars.
But we're getting Star Wars, right? This is the question
yeah, the internet's so hilarious with all that stuff. There's a Vader going, Jesus.
Disturbing.
Army of Mandalorians or Jar Jars. What about you? Do you think that Jar Jar could be a Sith?
Dude, I'm the one that introduced Dino to that video. Like the whole, I really think, because there's actually multiple videos that cover the whole Darth Jar Jar Sith like theory. I think it was going to be a legitimate thing, and mostly because like if you go behind the scenes of like Star Wars Episode 1, like George Lucas is like, yeah, Jar Jar Binks is like the center point. We have to get him right and blah blah and all this stuff. And I think it's just a reverse play on. Because I think George Lucas was really into this story of like, there's a king and a queen and the jester is kind of being silly and everyone makes fun of him, but he's actually like the smartest person in the room. And he's always like scheming to get himself into a higher position, or kind of like misleads people to like take it, not maliciously take advantage of them, but just like have an edge up. And that's what Yoda was, right? When Luke first saw Yoda, he's like, oh, where's Master Yoda? He's like, no, he's not here. Like, I don't know what to tell you. And so he's like messing with Luke until he reveals that he's Master Yoda. It was going to be that, but the reverse with Jar Jar. He's silly. He doesn't know what's happening, but he's like super athletic. He always gets really, really lucky. He does a lot of the mouthing stuff where it seems like people are just saying stuff that's like not in their. It's not something they would typically say, or it's not for their own advantage. And it just seems like and Jar Jar just seems to always be around with that kind of stuff. So it's pretty interesting. Yeah,
I think so too. Like when he's going to like I forget the dude's name, the general, or he's like, oh, you know, that guy. Mm-hmm. That's gonna be a meme later too. Where he's like waving his hand while the general's saying like, you're gonna be General Jar Jar. And it's like, oh no, and it's like, oh, it's using the Force.
Mm-hmm. And I think they kept a little bit of that when he was in the Senate, and he's really pushing for the Chancellor to be the leader, right? Like that was his thing. He's like, oh, Padme's not here, like. Yeah, the Chancellor should be the leader and like be the head of the Senate and all that stuff. So it's like, so I think he kept that part in, but everything else, he's like, yeah, everyone hates Jar Jar. He got so much hate. So they're just like, all right, let's just shoehorn in Dooku and just do that. So,
yeah, that would have been great if that was Jar Jar. A remake for KOTOR, hopefully next year. So Millennium Falcon, I think would be great. Luke's X-Wing, I think would be great. What are some of like your vehicles that you would want? Would you want like a pod racer or like a Naboo cruiser?
Yeah, I would like to have if they have just like a lineup of all the pod racers that did compete of like the original series, like that would be awesome. I'm trying to think of like the vehicles. Of course, it's like if you want to appeal to like all the nerds, like the TIE fighters, like there's the bomber one, there's the normal one.
Yeah.
You can even do like the Imperial transport like shuttle, the one that has like the wings that like fold out and down, because like the Emperor and Darth Vader transported in that a lot. I'm sure there's some other ones I'm forgetting. Even some of the droid ones were kind of cool in like the prequels, like some of the fighters that those used.
Yeah, I think that you probably have just on vehicles, just on items, probably have like years of content just on that, not including like the characters. Like they in like the 80s, I think they came out with like a book of just like different Star Wars lore and different characters, and that was like the only new Star Wars thing that they got after the comics ended. So people are like going crazy studying that. It's like, oh, it's new.
Yeah, because you can use like the Naboo fighters, right? That was one of like the book of Boba Fett that that Mando got. You could also use Slave One, which is Boba Fett's ship that would drop the bomb, like the sonic bombs, and it would explode and stuff. Gosh, there's so many other ones. There's even like, I'm trying to remember where it was, but like the solar powered one, like I think it was in like the prequels. There was the one that like shoot out like the big like not fins, but it was like, it looks like a giant like solar, it's like a solar powered like thing. I don't know. It's an
was it like a force field thing?
Kind of like a force field. I don't know. I think it was more of just like a travel ship thing. I'm not exactly sure, but of course, you have all the military vehicles that like the rebels and the Imperial, and I'm sure there's more vehicles in like the extended Star Wars like universe stuff that I just don't know. Me personally, I'm more of a Star Trek fan, but I understand like the appeal of Star Wars, and I was just like, it's just so huge. So
yeah, that Slave One would be legit, and that'd be awesome if you can get like, hey, if you get Slave One and you get Mando or you get whatever, then you get airdropped like these things that you could use in the VVverse, like the bombs, and you could destroy whatever.
Oh yeah.
And that'd be like, oh god, you gotta have like some power scaling too, because if these characters are available to be played in the VVverse, like with powers, a Jedi is just gonna be able to wreck everyone, make everyone fold. But I don't know. It would be.
I think the power scaling in like Battlefront, where they do like the hero battle thing, where like literally everyone's a hero and there's like the good guys and the bad guys. I think that power level is pretty accurate, because like you're Han Solo, like you're a hero. You have I forgot the name of his blaster. It's supposed to be some like cool blaster, and it's like, if the Jedi isn't blocking and you shoot him in the back 2 or 3 times, like he's gonna die. But if the Jedi gets close to you, you will die. So it's like, it's about managing your distance and all that stuff. So I think like they managed that pretty well in like the video game. So if they followed something similar to that, I think that'd be good.
Force Unleashed 2. What's up, Brendan Z? How's it going? I haven't played Galaxy Heroes. You reminded me before about, it was Star Wars Pod Racer on like Game Boy. You got to race against all the other people. Like there was a Rooster character, there was Odie Mandrell, there was a bunch of other things that you could race against, and it was pretty legit. Like Sebulba was obviously the main guy, but each person that you beat, you got to race as their car, and eventually Anakin's ship would upgrade and it would go super fast. And
gosh, it's just so crazy how Star Wars manages to find a way to release a movie and then make a whole bunch of other shows and video games and merchandise and all that stuff about it. About Star Wars Battlefront, that's great. Yep.
I'm obsessed.
I'm done. Jar Jar NFT burn party.
Oh, that'd be so great. Oh, could you imagine? Yeah, just having like a burn party in the Vverse. Let's all take our Jar Jars and burn them.
Oh yeah, and they have that one person that's the Emperor that's like, do it, burn them all, just do it.
Could you imagine if Jar Jar is like the ultra rare? Like,
just to troll everyone.
There'd be riots.
Oh yeah, I think like Jar Jar. I don't know. What do you think about the new trilogy that came out? Through Disney. What do you think about that?
I think they need to have, like, for as much crap as we had given the prequels, it was still one person telling one story. Like you had George Lucas at the forefront, and it was consistent, and it is a story, and it's from one person's point of view. But the new ones got like 3 different directors. You had someone come in, then you had someone replace them, someone come back, and then of course you had Leia, passing away in the middle of all that. And it's also, I think that I was talking to Dino about this before, at the end of Return of the Jedi, where they supposedly everyone had, people on Coruscant were happy. They were happy on like wherever people, sentient beings were that were for the rebellion and then were against the Empire,
Mhm.
In 30 years, either they all died or the Republic did such a crap job at going and running things that their support for like, you know, the rebellion was down to like 50 ships in the new movies. Like, how badly did Leia have to fudge up for that to happen? Maybe it's not her fault. Maybe this new space bug came in and wiped out half the population, but it just seems like they really made her not good.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I still haven't even seen the last movie that came out. Like, I've been meaning to, but I just keep forgetting. But I've seen enough movie reviews on it that I can kind of piece it all together. But like spoiler alert. But at the very ending of the last movie, which is like they had like hundreds of Star Destroyers getting built that were all being. It's like how could you accumulate that many resources without like figuring out what's happening? Like the amount of resources to build all those is galaxy wide. So it's like you need the money, you need the infrastructure, you have to move it like over the course of within 30 years. Like you don't think it's going to tip someone off like, oh, who's this investor that's buying literally all the resources to build the same stuff to make a Star Destroyer? Like, how does that make sense? But I don't the movie overall had it was just all over the place. I'm probably the one thing I'm most upset about is like they completely butchered Finn's character. Like Finn had a very, very interesting perspective, basically being like a military vet that was basically captured and then trained as a young child to become a stormtrooper, and then watching his comrades die, and then also reverting back, becoming basically
FN 11287 or something.
Yeah, something like that. And so he was that, and then he basically defected and then joined the rebellion. And he eventually just kind of just became the comedic relief. And it's just like, oh, they could have just dug into that so much more. Like we finally get a perspective from the Empire side, or the bad guy side, whatever. At like the ground floor, like a down, with the boots on the ground perspective, taking orders from higher ups and all that stuff. And what does the campaign of a typical stormtrooper look like? But you don't get any of that, unfortunately.
I think they did a better job in like the Clone Wars like series with fives, like where you got to know them, you got to know their different personalities and what they do, and almost like it was, they were treated like they didn't matter, like they were expendable, but they were still people, they were still whatever, and like Obi-Wan treated them as such. And it's like, I wish you're right. I wish it would have been kind of like Warhorse, like what is it like in the war through their eyes, their point of view. So what I might do is I just received a whole bunch of Lucy. I might just drop some Lucy and watch all the Star Wars movies, like just as a new perspective. Have you ever done that?
Just binge watch a show before it comes out, kind of thing.
No, on like Lucy in the sky with you drop and then.
Oh yeah.
Okay, have you done that with like movies?
It's been a while, but I remember, my roommate did it with Lord of the Rings not too long ago with a friend. And I wanted to go, but I was just busy with something else. And I'm like, God, what did I get? He's like, dude, we watched the whole trilogy, the extended version of all of them, just like 9 hours straight. I'm like, good God. And they just did the whole thing. The original trilogy, not the Hobbit prequels, but the original trilogy. But
I only watched like the first two Hobbits, and I was like, and even those like, couldn't do it.
Yeah, but the prequels were good, but God, there was a YouTube video guy that I watch, and he talks a lot about just Hollywood and how they really just need to step their game up in general. But one of his big criticisms, he's like, dude, how do you do a new trilogy that involves Han, Luke, and Leia and not put the three of them in a scene together? They all three of them were never together. And he's like, I don't remember the term, but he's like, dude, that's like Hollywood, big IP. He's like, that's like Hollywood, like malpractice. Like you can't bring back an IP that big and put the biggest characters together. You just can't do it. Like that's the biggest three trio together. But it's like, all right, you saw like Han and Leia together, but you never saw Luke with any of them. And like there was kind of a thing where like Leia, I guess, kind of saw like Luke's ghost form,
where they saw his
very briefly, but you never saw all three together. And I'm just like, how do you do that? Like imagine Jurassic Park, like they come out, it's coming out, and they just don't put the three big characters, right? I forgot his name, the doctor guy, the other girl, and then Jeff Goldblum. Like imagine there's never a scene all three of them together. They're just like always separate. They're running around, they're doing whatever, and they're never together. And you're like, those three characters are classic. Like you have to put them together in a scene and make them hug, and enjoy the moment until like some explosion happens. And they're like, oh god, now it's time to get back to like the classic, like, you know, battle stuff. So
Yeah, I agree 100% with that. And it's things that you wouldn't expect. I guess things that you don't notice at the time because, oh, there's Luke. Oh, there's that. But yeah, I've seen that even with stuff like Stranger Things, where, you know, part of the cast is like separated for most of the season because they're on their own adventure. It's like, oh, I want to see them all interacting together.
yeah. Like, did you ever watch just a side note, but do you ever see the new Matrix, the one that came out like Christmas?
I haven't, no.
Okay, well,
how is it?
It's all right, but when someone brought up an issue, I'm like, holy shit, like this didn't happen, which was the scene with Morpheus. Morpheus never handles a gun or fires a gun the entire movie.
Oh, really?
I'm like, never.
Yeah, it's a little disappointing.
It is disappointing. It's something like, even when you're watching it, you're just like, oh, that movie was okay. And then it wasn't until after when someone's like, dude, how do you have a movie with Keanu Reeves in The Matrix and not have him fire a single bullet? I'm like, holy shit, like that didn't happen. Like, that is so true. Like, that is...
Because like that's what he's known for now. He's known as like John Wick, going out and just messing people up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like, want to be epic. Oh yeah, speeder bikes. Yep. Star is a must. Did you see Fanboys? I talked with Dino about this the other day.
Fanboys? I don't think so. No.
Oh, dude, it's so good. You have this these younger guys and this girl. They're like in their early 20s, and one of their friends has like cancer, and it takes place in like 98, 99, and they want to break into Skywalker Ranch so they could see Phantom Menace before it comes out. And it's just a crazy fun adventure. They're all nerds, and it's really good. Like 9 out of 10 recommend.
Nice. Yeah, George Lucas is actually from my hometown. He's actually from Modesto, California. That's where I grew up.
So we have some thirst traps on this. We got, you know, that busty Supergirl. You got, you know, Death. You got Wonder Woman. What do you think would perform better, normal Luke or Slave Leia?
Maybe throw in a Twi'lek in there. That's also Slave as well. I think Luke will just perform better. You know, it's like monetarily, but secretly, no one's going to admit that they own Slave Leia. They're like, no, I got a Luke, and like secretly they got one. It's like,
I mean, Dino's going to get everything. So there's going to be people that are just going to get that are just legit collectors. That are just going to, like, I remember years ago where I was making Pokemon videos, and people were messaging me like, hey, listen, you know, this card, like, is it worth it, like, long term? Because like they were getting second jobs specifically so that they could buy Pokemon cards. Guarantee you that happens here with especially with Star Wars. People are going to go and like, I mean, you could do it. You know, $10,000 seems like a lot, and it is. But if you're working 40 hours a week, you have a lot of time left during that week. You can work an extra 20 hours a week and just keep on stacking that money, and eventually go and buy it. Now that we have the web app, be able to. Did you get access to the web app?
No, not yet. Or
damn, only like Foster has it.
Yeah, it's like Foster, and I could have sworn one other person had it, but I guess that's it.
I mean, Brock McBlockchain had it, but he doesn't really stream. He'll be on the podcast on Wednesday, though.
Nice. Aren't you interviewing him like Wednesday?
The what?
Aren't you like having an interview with him like Wednesday or something?
Yeah, he'll be on there on Wednesday. Did you get a fiche?
I have not. I've been meaning. Honestly, I haven't set up like my OpenSea account or done anything with that. But I do want to do it because like I do want to get a drop head from my collectibles. I do want to get a fiche. Kind of just support the content creators that are making content like outside of veve, which I think is pretty cool. So I do want to get on board with that. But yeah, I did see his tweet that he was like, "Oh, just F it. I'm going to do this, this, and this, and this, and this." And I was like, "Oh, that's cool. Maybe I should get a fiche now before it starts." You know.
Yeah, dude, it's insane. Also, essentially, crypto has has a AMA with Reese on May 4th as well at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that'll be interesting. Can't wait to see what they're doing there. Anything
essentially crypto, is that just like another YouTube?
Yeah, he's just I don't think he has like a lot of subscribers, but if he's getting a thing with Reese, everyone's gonna subscribe now. Like, all right, let's go. Let's get this bread. Prequels and OT are the great. So it's great. Yeah, the mainstream stuff does tend to suffer a little bit. What direction would you take Star Wars in now? Now that you got Mando, you got Baby Yoda. Would you make like in between movies with these characters, or would you time skip ahead to where Baby Yoda is now like 100 and he's like a full-fledged Jedi? What would you?
I want to explore more of the universe outside of the Jedi and stuff. Either, I mean, don't get me wrong, I want to explore all the stuff. Like, I would love to see like an LA noir in Coruscant, like a kind of crime investigative thing where, like, because Coruscant, like the entire, like I think the entire planet is just basically just a city. It's just like this huge high rise, basically Vegas like city. And I mean, you saw it in I think it was episode 2 where they were like hunting that bounty hunter, remember, like through the thing, and the guy tried to sell him death sticks, like Obi-Wan. And like imagine the whole city's like that. It's just people, there's drugs being passed around, there's people kidnapping, there's all kinds of stuff that's happening in the city. So imagine, like, I don't know how they would do on that. Like, I'm not sure if it's like the local police, or maybe there's a Jedi that does show up and they're just kind of like that has like really good like cognition skills to like kind of figure out what's going on with the crimes and stuff like that. And they're trying to like, I would love to have a show or at least like a movie on that. I just want to explore more of just like the galaxy, or like, the universe of Star Wars. Cause like we have so much of the, and I think the stepping into like the bounty hunter side of things is somewhat interesting. I kind of like, in my personal opinion, Boba Fett should have been what Mando was, like more like just rough, gruff, trying to, I feel like just Boba Fett was kind of a pushover in the show where it's just like, I don't know.
I think no, Boba Fett is smart in the show. Like, he doesn't kill unless he has to, and if he does, he goes hard, But yeah, I think he's being smarter in the show because he's not just a bounty; he's a crime lord now. Like, he goes and he has to run stuff. Getting a crew. I like him in the show. Maybe it's just my soft side. Maybe it's just me.
Yeah, I guess I would like to see him be a bit more like rough, because he even said in the show, he was like, I'm tired of these crime lords like putting bounty hunters or people like me in positions of danger just to serve their needs. And I'm like, wait, what'd you do? You just grabbed up a bunch of teenagers and put them in the line of danger, right? Like, they almost died too. And it's strange how,
they were criminals beforehand, though. They were like not doing the Lord's work or nothing.
No, and they said like they were like poor, and I'm like, how are you poor when you have probably millions of credits worth of augments on your arms, and you have these like classic speeder? But so like, there's some minor inconsistencies there where it's like, I'm kind of like, all right, like, what's going on? Like, I don't expect it to be like flawless by any means, but there's just some things where it's like Boba Fett's trying to rule with respect, but he also just seems like he just kind of I never heard him say like, no, we're not doing that. It's always like, yes, we'll do it. Yes, he just kind of just said yes to everyone. I don't know, like, because when you think about it, like, say he wants to rule with respect, but like, what's the first thing he did in the episode, right? He like walked in and shot what's his face. That was like the new Jabba. Like, before he came in, like, didn't ask any questions, just showed up, shot him. I'm like, yeah, this is the Boba Fett I want. Like, but I would like to see like more of a character arc, like, I guess, like, because the Tusken Raiders thing, like, I don't know, probably because like I'm pretty obsessed. I probably watch too many like YouTube videos that like review shows, and they're like really
they break it apart, and there's like
they just break it apart, and I'm just like, I enjoyed Boba Fett, but I'm like, some parts were just like not that good, and that they break it down like scene by scene. I'm just like, oh gosh, maybe it's not as good as I thought, and I'm just like, so maybe I'm just too cynical, I guess, after I watch those shows sometimes. But I like it for what it is. Yeah, Bit Fortuna, thanks, Darth Chaos.
Oh yeah, that's what we were. Yeah,
Bit Fortuna. So he just shot him, like, no questions asked, no nothing. Yep, this is mine. Just shoots him. But yeah, so
no, J Baz. Dino was here a while ago. He gone. Thought about his last movie was horrible. Richard Luke. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh wow. People. Kylo was baby and stuff got killed off. It made me quit Star Wars. Oh my god. People trashing it hard. Been saving. Yeah. Like I whatever Dave Filoni and Happy Hogan, I forget his name, whatever they want to do, just let them run the whole Star Wars thing, because they're doing amazing.
Yeah. I would like to see more of like Qui-Gon Jinn and I think Count Dooku, because those were like the two people that were kind of counterintuitive to like the Jedi Council, with like no ties, no relationships, no nothing. Like they were very black and white about that. But like I know Qui-Gon Jinn was definitely more of like an independent thinker, and he was kind of more of a, just didn't agree with like everything the council said. Like he kind of like understood the baseline stuff and like went with it. But there were some things that he did like fight back on, certain ideologies that he didn't agree with, like the Jedi. Same thing with Count Dooku. He was kind of a person that wasn't just like totally on board with like everything. It was like, I think it's okay to do this stuff. We just need to learn how to control it. Like, because it seems like the Jedi are almost trying to be like Vulcan, where it's like no emotion, no nothing, and that's it. And like to a certain extent, but
That's what I would like to see. If you're talking about Coruscant, I want to see someone that failed out of the Jedi program, but was like really good, like really gifted, but then they're like, all right, you lust for women, or you tried psychedelics, or you tried the, and then they're just a cop, but they also like, they enjoy they don't like, they're not bad, but they enjoy the underside. They like to gamble, or they go and they get escorts or something, but they're wickedly good at solving crimes. And they're just, that'd be cool. See like an anti-hero.
I think that'd be, and I would also like to just see the, what's it called? The, like the guild, you know, the people that basically employ, Boba Fett, that employ Mando. Like that was just like the guild's perspective on like hiring bounty hunters and like what do they have to deal with when it comes to like scavenging for contracts, or just like kind of they give out a contract. Now you get to see that bounty hunter's perspective. Because me personally, like if I had to live in the Star Wars universe, I know everyone's like, oh, it wouldn't be a Jedi or this. I'm like, dude, I would want to be a bounty hunter. Like that. I think that'd be kind of sick. That's just me personally.
I love this drop, and I'm gonna try to get it, but I would not sell partners for almost anything like that. I don't know if that's. I don't know. I think it's a good idea. Yeah.
Like I said, for this comic drop, I'm gonna play the drop, but I'm not gonna chase it in the secondary market super hard because I feel like it's gonna pump pretty hard. In my opinion.
Obadiah goes check Ostenovitz. He knows like Slave Leia would be everywhere.
Yeah.
Everyone.
It'd basically be like Dragon Girl 2.0, except like now there's actually skin for the most part. Because how do you feel about like what if they dropped like Obi-Wan, but like the 3 different stages, right? Like episode like 1 Obi-Wan, and then they did basically the current Obi-Wan for the show, and then they did like Old Man Obi-Wan for like the original. Because I think that's one actually workaround for FA, right? Because a lot of people are like, what would be FA, Anakin or Vader? Because they dropped Vader. That's FA because it's still technically Anakin, but if they drop Anakin later,
dude, if they went and dropped like little boy Anakin, and then Vader was not first appearance, there would be so many freaking riots.
Because that's the same thing with Captain America, right? Like Captain America, is Steve Rogers, and it's like they look the same, or you know, they look different enough. You know, one's named and one is like the named character, the other one's like the named person. So.
But they have. I mean, I think that Steamboat Willie was called Steamboat Willie, and Mickey Mouse is called Mick. And I think they both should have been first appearances. But Disney's like, nah, fam. Steamboat Willie is the same. So it's like, okay, I guess they are really not liberal on that. I mean, you have a couple of things like the Harley Quinn was like a first edition, and that's an error, or like a Rizzo is like a first edition, that's an error. But they're not doing that anymore. They are going to be really strict with it. But yeah, I really hope if they do it, they decide to do Vader first. Yeah, because
you know, or just even if they do Vader later, it's like Vader is Vader, and then Anakin is Anakin, and not like, oh, it's the same character, or it's you know, different or whatever. So
they would. That's something I could see being burned if there was like little boy pod racer Anakin. Burn it. Like the one where he's like he looks like freaking Rambo, where he's jacked. And I was like, okay, yeah. That's a cool Anakin. But the little kill the little boy, kill the younglings. Dude, that'd be crazy if that was like a game. How many younglings can you kill before they overtake you?
There's so many mods for like Jedi Academy and like those like those games. That's like a lot of it's based on like the lightsaber fighting. There's so many people that made mods of like Anakin walking in and he's just like slaughtering younglings, but the person made the mod where like the younglings will fight back. Like if you don't kill them quickly, they have their little lightsabers and they're like jumping around, and like they will wreck your day if you don't kill them quick enough. So it's actually kind of funny.
I love stuff like that. I love. Somebody asked on TikTok, like, what is the women? What don't you understand about men? And they'll be like, I asked my husband what he was thinking of. And he said, like, do you think I could take all our pets in a fight if they attacked me all at once? It's one of those things that
it's very true.
Yeah.
We like, you know, we do think of just like ridiculous scenarios and stuff like that, or just like big matchup battles, like who would win, like Wolverine or Deadpool, or like how would that fight work out? Or it's like, you know, what if I secretly have some sort of like ability and I just don't know I have it, you know? Like,
oh, that's true. That secret healing. Thank you, Alice Havley, and for getting together. Both great. Oh, no problem, Alice. Thank you so much for the super chat. Y'all are my bays.
Awesome.
What was I here? Oh yeah. Do you think they'll use the actors' faces? Like, so Dino said that he was worried about skin because like Deadpool and Black Panther are great, but like Sue Storm and normal Storm, they are not so great.
Yeah, and I think I explained it. I think on Dino's stream too. It's like the reason why the DC looks so much better than the Marvel stuff is because the DC, like Catwoman, all that stuff, like they're all there's physical counterparts. Like there's actual physical collectibles, which means they had to make a 3D rendering. There's literally an artist behind each of them. Like Todd McFarlane and Batman, and like there's literally an artist that designed each of them. So I think for veve and DC, when DC gave them like, oh yeah, you guys can use Edward, Eddie Russo and the other Batmans and stuff, they literally just gave them the 3D renderings, and I think it was just a plug and play. But with Marvel, I think they have to make it from the ground up, and so they probably either do it in-house or outsource it to another studio to make the 3D render, which is why it's so inconsistent, right? Like some of them look pretty good, and then some other ones were just like, oh, like this looks not good at all, like Lenectra and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But that's the other issue too. It's like if they use Mark Hamill's face, are we gonna have to pay extra royalties to like Mark Hamill, or like pay extra royalties to these actors' faces that like if we use their actual face, or is there like a whole nother thing of like licensing or contractual agreements that's involved?
Film Theory just did a video on this saying that there's going to be a movie coming out with a person who is dead, and like they had died a long time ago, and Disney has this thing where you can't own like a person like but you can own like their face, and Disney has this giant backlog of dead people's faces that they could put in any movie that they want, and it's like,
jeez.
Oh, so they could go and have other people act and just superimpose, put their faces on, and it's just it's wild that there might be a movie one day where there's no new actors, they're all dead, and they just have like their face, like
especially with like the deepfake technology and stuff. Like you could easily just have if you need like physical actors, you can just have them like mimic the Christopher Walken. You have him just like mimic the voice that he does and his physical mannerisms and stuff, and you just deep fake his face on top, and it's like, oh, it's Christopher Walken or something like that.
They do that on Pornhub too, and I don't know if it got banned or not, but they would like superimpose or deep fake the like celebrities' faces or whatever, and I think they got in trouble because they did it with someone that was like, nah, fam, and they had like I don't remember what it was, but yeah, so it happens already in that, so I can't see why it wouldn't happen in Hollywood.
So not deep faking Luke's face on Slave Leia's body is probably not good. It's probably not a good look.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So there's a bunch of all new stuff always coming out for Star Wars. What are you most excited about?
The new stuff coming out?
Yeah, like for Star Wars, or I guess anything, but like, is it Obi-Wan stuff? Is it like the Rogue Squadron stuff that they have coming out next year? Is it any new video game?
Jeez. I mean, I just want another Knights of the Old Republic. Like that'd be sick. But I don't know much about the Squadron movie. Like honestly, didn't hear about it till now. I don't know. Like Obi-Wan would be good. I think I thought it was going to be a movie, not a show, like actual like running series. So I don't know how I feel about that. Like whether something should be a movie versus like a show. I'm kind of not sure how I feel about it, but for me, like I would explore more of like the extended universe stuff of Star Wars. Cause even, Dino admits like he was, he watched all his version of Star Wars is the prequels, which is what he grew up on. He watched it and all that stuff. And so did I. Luckily, my dad was huge into Star Wars. I remember having like the VHS set that had like Vader's like face, I think on the front, and like the Death Star on the side. It was like a 3-part VHS thing. And I just watched that tons and tons and tons of times.
Yeah.
So I just hope they explore more of like the extended universe stuff. Cause like even Dino admits like he didn't know that much about the original trilogy. He didn't know how big like Boba Fett was as like an icon. Like I think obviously he only had like 3 lines in like the trilogy, or 4 lines in the original trilogy. He didn't have that many lines, but just his design and the way that other people spoke about Boba Fett, even though he didn't say anything, just his reputation was like really intriguing. And so I kind of want them to explore more of like the extended universe stuff, like outside of just like Jedi. My personal opinion. Agreed.
I'd like that as well. Mutable X data. Hopefully that comes in the next couple months. We'll be able to see who owns what and all the, how many original stuff there are. But that's what I also think, that oh, this only had one other owner, and you could look that up on the blockchain. I think that'd be pretty legit. So there's a few. Disney probably knows a bunch because of his verification process. I don't know what that was in reference to. That was 10 minutes ago. I hate. Do you ever do that and you're like behind like 30 minutes on comments? Like I forget what I was listening to 30 minutes ago.
It's much harder when you have a guest on and you're trying to like talk and bounce ideas off each other. But when I'm streaming alone, I usually I keep up pretty closely with chat.
There's Dino coming in, bringing the egg gang.
Oh yeah.
Let's get this right. I love this game.
Did you ever play I think it was on GameCube or maybe Xbox. There was like a bounty hunter game. Did you ever play that?
There was one I had for PS2, and I didn't really like it that much.
You would like you'd get like a mission, and you could like scan people's faces and like see how much their bounty was worth and stuff, and you could like tie them up or kill them or
Yeah, I remember.
You could see the contract whether you got paid more, whether taking them in dead or alive or whichever one. It was up to you to kind of choose. I remember that game. I also remember. Yeah. Did you ever play Republic Commando?
No, what's that about?
That one is just the clone troopers, and I'm trying to remember their names, but it was like you were like the squad leader, but you had like a guy that was the medic, you had a guy that was like the engineer, and I think the other guy was like the heavy weapons expert and stuff like that. So it was kind of a cool game where you like, it was one of the first games you like, utilize the squad. You could like tell an NPC to like, oh, blow open this door, and this guy's like down, and you're like, oh, pick me up or pick him up and stuff like that. And this was
so
like
cool.
Such an early game, so ahead of its time.
I like stuff like that. It reminds me of a game called Worms. I don't know if you ever played it on the arcade on Xbox. Yeah. So there was Worms 2, where you had a heavy guy, you had a scout, you had like a medic, you had a normal one, and I like stuff like that because it implements a lot of strategy. So people was saying that need to venture away from the Skywalker family. Maybe people are tired of it, which okay, fair, but Rogue One, which was amazing, I thought. A lot of people don't really like it. They say it's boring and the characters are okay and the story's okay. And, I feel like for movies, if they try to venture away from the Skywalker family, it's like, how did the Han Solo movie do? I don't think it did that well. It's like people complaining like, oh, why don't you focus on characters other than Batman? Okay, well, when people start buying that other stuff instead of, the main series Batman.
Yeah.
We got Superstar Money saying, thanks for the stream. Let's be honest, if I wasn't working, how many mints do we think Star Wars? I'd say probably 30K, just because it's not a huge comic like MC1 or Fantastic Four #1 or #5. So I think 30 is probably okay. What about you?
I don't think it's going to be 70. I think the only comic that I know that's 70K is the first appearance of Green Goblin. All the others are like 60 and stuff. I think it's going to be 30K as well. It could be 60, but I think it's 30K. It's I'm trying to explain. It's a historical piece, but it's like not popular, I guess. Like if it was more popular, I guess it'd be worth more, I guess. I'm not entirely sure. Like
I also think that this creates like how many people like Dan Schawbel, I don't think he bought these graded comics before now. And now he's buying them. I don't know how many people are how many collectors that this is creating. I think it's a lot. Like I never had a Bane statue before this, and I do now.
That's sick.
Yeah, I had a buddy that buy that for me. He's like, "You need this." I was like, "You're right. I do need this. This is amazing."
I really thought they were going to drop that in this black and white series because that would be technically F.A. Bane, right?
I am so salty that they didn't. I'm so salty that they didn't.
But instead, we got crotch shot Batman. The one who is sliding and he's shooting his grapple gun.
This is true. Thank you, Aldous. Thank you. Afternoon, Omi Panda, deepfake Luke and Man. Yeah, I like Luke. I like the deepfake. It looks like him. It sounds like him. Thought it was pretty legit. So what are some of your things that you want them to stay away from? Do you want them to stay away from the Luke or the Skywalker family? Do you want them to be like, all right, we're done with the Palpatine family and all that? Anything you don't want to see?
it's hard to say. Not even to like get political, but it's just like all the political injections that we kind of see, and just not just Star Wars, but just Hollywood in general, where it's just like clearly it's not like you could still bring up those topics or those themes, but just doing it slightly like more nuanced way, and not so like heavy handed and obvious. Like what was the whole side quest with like, you know what I mean? Like which movie was it?
The last one, they were in like a casino, I think.
They're just like running around a casino, just like making a muck. It's like you realize like the rebellion's gonna die, and like you need to do this, but they're like, no, let's free these animals and do all this stuff. It's like basically like animal, conservation and rescue, which I'm all for. But it's also like down with the rich, and it's like now is not the time to do this. Like tackle these issues. Like people are like the whole rebellion's gonna die. Like I like now is not the time to free a handful of animals. Like don't get me wrong, like I fully support that stuff, but it's like now, like realistically, like just now is not the time. I don't know.
Yeah.
But things I want them to kind of like not necessarily like stay away from, but gosh. And I think another reason why some people didn't like the trilogy is that it was so politically, there's a lot of political intrigue and all that kind of stuff. So it was like a bit of a slower thing. But yeah, I would say like kind of not necessarily stay away from the Skywalker thing, but like, again, just focus more on the other stuff. Like what about all the Jedi that survived Order 66? Like there's got to be a handful of Jedi that it's like, they're finding a way to like, how do I get in contact with the Jedi Order again? Like what the hell happened? And they're trying to figure it out. And they're jumping from planet to planet, trying to figure stuff out, find another Jedi. Like they're just going through that struggle. Like that's the kind of stuff I want to see. Or like the clone troopers that defected that didn't follow through with Order 66. Because I haven't seen the cartoon like Clone Wars thing. I honestly haven't seen any of that. I've been meaning to watch it, but
so good. It like the first season, gets a little. It's really good though. Like everything, there's a whole episode where Yoda just takes these clones and he just like he just murks. It's so good. Yoda's being badass. I always wanted to see more Yoda, doing fighting, and you get that little scene in the second movie, and then you get again in the third movie where it's not really fighting with a lightsaber. He's just like dodging these giant swirling things in the Senate. So it's good to see him be like an actual general, like strategizing and doing that. So that's really fun.
Maybe a little bit of stuff about like maybe Jabba, like what he did while he was in power, being it's a daimyo. Yeah, it's like the daimyo.
Yeah, the daimyo.
But I kind of don't want to return to Tatooine for a while. So it's like, please explore a different part of the universe or like the galaxy far, far away. Please explore something else. And I'm sure like eventually they'll probably do some stuff where like they explore more of like the Wookiee culture or maybe some other cultures that already exist as well. So,
yeah. Oh, there's Dan Chavez. Then he bought comics when he was a teenager. Didn't know what first appearance was. I don't even know if CGC or other grading servicing existed then. But veve made him a comic collector and investor of first appearances. My man.
Nice.
Didn't know Batman black and white physical statues existed until I might have seen them when I was in like the comic stores or just in toy shops in general, but I just didn't know what they were. That's something.
Yeah, same here. I didn't know the black and white series was even a thing. I might get a Todd, but I'm more inclined to buy like comics now. Like I told you, like I would love to either buy one of the old school comics at like a 2.0 graded. Like I don't care. It's just like, oh, it's just cool to have an old school comic, or kind of get one of the newer age ones, like a New Mutants or NYX, or gosh, there was another one. I don't remember off the top of my head. That's probably going to be pretty good, like in the future. But
yeah, I think Tales of Suspense people, are underestimating. Yeah, the NYX ones. People, I think Sleeping is stacking a bunch of those NYX ones. I don't know if that was supposed to be public or not. I think it just.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's not new information that comic guys are stacking certain comics. Some. I mean, they're stacking each one to a certain extent, but like some, they're just stacking more than others. For the most part.
I posted that on my veve feed yesterday. Just like, hey, I'm stacking Lokis. What are you stacking? And some people like, there's someone that has like 5% of the Christ ones, like the QR, the breakfast cereal mascot guy. I was like, wow, someone's stacking those? I guess they are.
Yeah.
Are you stacking anything?
Not necessarily. I still have like a small stack of like Ghost Rider comics. So I have like 3 of the ultra rares. I have like 10 or 12 of the commons. I had more rares and uncommons, but I sold them all already. I'm just kind of waiting the price to go back up. But I knew Ghost Rider was going to be good because I do think he's going to appear in the Marvel.
Dude, he is so undervalued. This is what I don't like about Hollywood. Well, I get it. Some things can't exactly translate to film, but when he has, when he's just fighting these like biker gang dudes, and people are like, oh, okay, Ghost Rider's like a street level like thing. No. Ghost Rider has beaten the Hulk. He's killed Doctor Strange. He's killed Thanos. Like, there was a version of Ghost Rider in like 1 million BC where he's just a flaming skeleton on top of a flaming mammoth. That was the original Ghost Rider. And I was like, get the fudge out. Like, people don't know. They're underestimating him like a mother flapper. And I can't wait for that to go up. I don't even have the book. I should be buying the book. I don't even have it. But
yeah, I love it when authors for certain comics or certain characters, they under the right circumstances, some of your like more mediocre, heroes that are viewed as being mediocre, like can really do just crazy stuff. Like one of my favorite ones is Moon Knight. Actually, there was a Moon Knight comic where he actually goes to I'm trying to remember like where Iron Fist exists, but he like goes over, beats Iron Fist. Yeah, Kowloon or whatever.
Yeah.
Goes over there, like beats Iron Fist, takes his power somehow, because I think he was given additional power by his god. God, I forgot the name of Moon Knight's.
Some Kunlun, whatever.
Yeah, I forgot the name of Moon Knight's god, but he gave him some additional power because, like, in that comic book, he got more powerful as like the moon was like more full or something like that, or like something related to that. So like beat he beat Iron Fist, which Iron Fist is arguably like the best martial artist like in Marvel Comics. Then he went over to beat I think Doctor Strange somehow, and then he like went over and like it took Ghost Rider's like car and like also took his ability and stuff, and like it just started like spinning out of control. And it's like, yeah, under the right circumstances, like that stuff, something like that could happen.
Taking his power. I think the only one that could beat Iron Fist, who's the dude that just came, Asian dude with the 10 rings?
Shang-Chi.
Yeah, I think he's like the only one that could maybe beat Iron Fist. Like maybe, but yeah, like you absorb their powers. Like no one's gonna beat you. Like you're gonna be unstoppable. So I remember I started buying Pokemon cards again in like 2018, 2019, like really started like going it. And then what had minted new collectors for Pokemon was 2020, was the pandemic. Things went wild because people were staying home, getting those government checks. So people that even weren't working or just worked like wherever, suddenly they're getting paid a lot of money each month to stay home. They have cars, they have money, they're getting Pokemon cards. I see what's happening in 2020 happening right now with veve and minting new collectors, people that weren't in before. Suddenly you can make money, the FOMO gets in, and this is not just with one IP, it's with a lot. Entire collecting hobby, including all of our, did you ever collect any cards outside of like is there Star Wars cards? Is there Star Trek cards? I know you're really big into Star Trek as well.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't like a hardcore. I just liked watching the shows. Like, I think I've literally watched I haven't watched anything. I haven't watched Picard. I've watched like a good amount of Star Trek Discovery, not all of it. I tried watching the original series, but it was just so like campy and just like cringy. I just couldn't get through it. But I think I understand the gist of it through like Star Trek memes online and like Captain Picard's like doing wrestling moves against aliens. Like he's like jumping off a wall and like doing like an elbow, like with the people's elbow on it. I'm like, what is going on? Like this is Star Trek. People's elbow. Pretty much. He's just throwing out all kinds of stuff, or he's smacking women. I mean, that's just the time back then, the culture and movies and stuff. So I'm just like, oh, okay. But yeah, I've always liked Star Trek. My favorite one is probably Next Generation, followed by Deep Space Nine, then Voyager. Voyager is probably close second, but I did like Deep Space Nine. I just like how they tackle a lot of like different cultural issues and just even just stuff that is just like very just putting people like in a moral dilemma. And they cover it all up by having aliens and different dilemmas and stuff, where probably one of my favorite episodes, and this is a short story, but like one of my favorite ones is so the ship, this is I think Next Generation, they show up to this planet and they bring up these ambassadors, and there's 3 of them. There's or I guess there's like a group of them, but there's like I think there's like a king and a queen, and they bring up this other person that kind of doesn't really have a lot of like facial features. It's just like no eyebrows, no nothing, and they're like, who's this? And they're like, oh, just ignore them. Yeah, we'll just go talk in the meeting hall or whatever. But they leave this like third gendered person like in their waiting area, or like in their quarters. And so one of the Star Trek people walk in there and they're like, hey, like, is everything okay? Like, why do they treat you like you're nothing? And they're like, well, I'm part of a third species, or like a third gender, where they make up like 0.001% of the population, and they're just there to provide an enzyme like during sex so they can reproduce. So basically when they're born, the only thing they can pretty much do, they have no rights, no nothing. Like their entire existence is like, once one family is done with them, they get passed on to the next family, and then the next family, and then the next family. Like there's no time for them to like study or become more, or have a profession, or have interests or hobbies. And of course, us being humans, we try to project on them like, hey, you shouldn't do this. They should have rights and do all this stuff and blah, blah. And they're like, yeah, we tried that, but like we almost got wiped out because like, you know, we try to put their rights first and make sure they're equal, but like we almost died as a species. So like we just can't do that. And it's like,
so the majority almost died as a species by trying to put
by letting that third gender thing, that all they do is provide an enzyme like during sex, but like because they were given rights and stuff, they were kind of being a little too independent and putting themselves before basically the masses of the community and all that stuff. And
gotcha.
There's more nuance than that, but it just kind of makes you interested, where you're just like, how does that like society survive? And like that was another episode where I don't know if it was Next Generation or maybe it was one of the older shows, but there was a planet that would fight. Like there's a planet where there's basically a world war going on and they're fighting each other, but they do it all digitally. So like it's almost turn-based. So they would fight each other. They're like, oh yeah, we've learned that throughout history, when we fight wars, it's just not efficient to like actually launch bombs and like destruct like landmass and like resource and stuff. So what we do is like one side will like shoot bombs or like make their move. And like if let's say a bomb hits a city, we just tell all those people to just leave the city and go to an incinerator, and we just kill them all. So like we want to keep the infrastructure and the resources, but we don't want people like, so they're like, it's okay for people to die, but like we don't want to lose the infrastructure and resources and stuff. So then it's our turn to like launch an attack. And like when the humans got there, they're like, this makes no sense. Like, how are you guys just willingly telling people just to go to incinerator? You know, because that was what happened with one of the episodes. I think they beamed down an away crew, and one of the guys I think was like, you know, hooking up with a girl or something like that in one of the other buildings. Nice. And that structure got bombed, and they're like, oh yeah, he needs to go die. And they're like, wait, like, what do you mean? They're like, well, that city block got destroyed, so your friend needs to go die. And they're like, no, like this is silly. He's alive. They're like, well, we found out through. It's just war is just much more efficient with battle simulations and just telling people just to like go to an incinerator rather than like destroying infrastructure and like resources. And I'm like, what is, and not, of course, I'm telling you the best episodes. Like there's a lot of filler episodes. There's episodes that are a bit more dull, but it's just a lot of it's just like a mental, just like what is going on, or it's like that's just the stuff I'm more interested in. Like personally, like I appreciate Star Wars. Like it's definitely more action based. It tells more of like the hero's story from loose perspective and all that stuff, which is great. But yeah, that's personally why I like Star Trek. And like Deep Space Nine is much more like politically intrigued. So each Star Trek is a bit different, but
yeah, I love that type of stuff. Like what would happen if there was like a society or like a world out there where all the like the majority of the population had like high functioning like Asperger's and autism, and the like the minority, like the 1% were like people that didn't, and then suddenly things flip on their head. Like that would be really interesting to see all those people like that just don't care about small talk and just only care about other different problems, and there's, oh god, that'd be so weird.
Yeah. Actually, Dana Marquez corrected me. It was actually from Stargate SG-1, but there's an episode that's kind of similar to that in Star Trek. But another one of mine, and this is actually from like, I don't know, I've always liked sci-fi and stuff, and like, have you ever seen Galaxy Quest?
I have not.
It's a great movie. You should watch it.
Oh, it's a movie.
Yeah, it's a movie. It has Tim Allen and a bunch of other good actors. Tim Allen. Yeah, he's great. It's basically just like a reenactment of like Star Trek or Star Wars or something like that. It's kind of funny, but like very minor spoiler. I mean, it's not that you find it out like relatively in like the middle of the film, but they interact with like actual aliens at some point, and they found out like the aliens, the humans are like acting, just pretending whatever. And the aliens are like, well, we saw you guys do all this stuff on the ship. And they're like, no, it's acting. They're like, what do you mean? They're like, oh, we're pretending to be other people. Like, we're lying. And like the alien species had no concept of lying. Like the idea of like not telling the truth is a concept that they just don't understand. Like, you always tell the truth. Like, this is purely factual. Like the entire species just believes like in just raw facts. Like the fact of like deception, lying is just like not a concept to them, like at all whatsoever. It's like, that is, there's just concepts like that was just always super interesting to me, which, Star Wars tackles certain societal issues and stuff like that at certain levels. But I mean, you can only pack so much into a movie. When you have like a series that goes for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, you can kind of tackle a lot of topics and stuff. So
I love stuff, characters like Spock or characters like Vision from the MCU that just think in just this really abstract way, and their minds are different. And like what if you go to an alien society where they don't know the number 0? Like that, it's just not, numbers are, I guess, made up or discovered or whatever. But what if they can't smell? What if they can't see? What if they, like Jimmy Neutron? Oh, how, like they're laughing is them just exchanging nitrogen particles, and us laughing is like offensive to them for whatever reason. I don't.
Yeah, or even the concept of like the future, right? They just live in the now, and that's it. Like the idea of like something beyond the like current second doesn't exist. Even watching stuff with like, maybe not really geeking out here, but it's like I remember watching some stuff with like Stephen Hawking about like real life aliens that could exist, like aliens that like living organisms that live inside of like a sun or something like that, or organisms that live in like a nebula cloud, and 1 second means they live for 1,000 generations. So like imagine being like, you're born, you live, you breed, and you die within fractions of a second. You just like live, and that's all you do. It's like, that's just something we can't comprehend or even like notice. It's just crazy to think.
It's like Dr. Manhattan in the that movie with you know what I'm talking about, right? He's a big blue guy, and Watchmen.
The Watchmen. Yeah, Watchmen.
He says that he's seen things that happen so quickly that they could barely have been to be able to have existed. Like they should not be considered to exist because they happen so fast.
Yeah.
That's why I'm so interested in like Yoda's, like if you could live for 900 years, like how many languages would you know? How many martial arts would you know? Like how much freaking wealth could you build in half that time?
Yeah.
Like it's a lot. Now granted, you're really small and probably have a large chance of dying, and you're pretty useless for the first like 50 something years of your life. So
yeah, you see that in a lot of fiction with like vampires and stuff that live for like hundreds of years, and they're very stoic. They're very, of course they're wealthy because they've accumulated a lot of they live up in a castle, and they're very secluded from society because they're just like, I've seen it all. Like I don't care. Like I've seen wars, I've seen all this stuff happen, I've seen love, I've seen death. Like I have nothing left to experience. Like that, like it's all done. Which is why they end up being kind of just crazy later and end up being evil.
That's true. So there's a comment here saying that David, you had just commented about something, saying there's in the month of May that Star Wars related. And let's see where it is. Okay, yeah. So David Yu's hair, which I love that account. Yeah. Says May 1st, 501st day. So there's May 4th, May 5th, the 14th, 16th, 19th, 20th, 21st, and 25th. And then David, you said you missed the Star Wars celebration event. What does the celebration event mean to you? Because I'm like the Christmas special, which is not in May, but
no, Star Wars celebration event.
All right, I gotta Google this.
Maybe that's like a Disney thing, or I don't know. Star Wars celebration event. I'm gonna look it up too.
Thursday, May 26th, and it's in Anaheim on May 26th through May 29th. It's
okay, so it's like a live event that they might do a promotional drop or some sort of like that. They could give out a promo code for it where it's like there's an additional drop.
So that's interesting. I can't wait. And where do you live at? Are you in Cali? Are you
No, I'm in Phoenix, Arizona. Well, it's
okay. What are you going to DCon? Are you going to San Diego Comic-Con? What are you trying to get to this year?
I'm going to try and get to the San Diego Comic-Con. Dino did hint at something like, I thought he said that like veve was hinting at something in June 4th.
Yeah, June 4th they're having some party. I don't know what it is though.
Like in Anaheim, which they might do something. Yeah, I'm really excited for like the promotional material drops or like the promo codes and stuff that they're going to hand out for in-person events. I think there's going to be a lot. Don't get me wrong. There's going to be a lot of like Jurassic Park NFTs that come out of this, but I do think there's going to be a lot of them that either aren't claimed or people are going to lose them or not even realize that there's an NFT involved with, booking a ticket for a certain thing. So I think Dino told you he booked like 4 seats like at my theater that I'm going for. So he's just going to email me his thing and I'm going to print out the tickets. And I thought about making like a video out of it, just kind of doing like probably show up like either the day before, or, like the morning of like the event and just quiz people. I was going to do kind of like, you've seen people like do like YouTube videos where they like, hey, sir, and they just like wave down people. They ask them silly questions. I was going to do something similar to that, but I was going to like talk about veve, but also promotional material and just like ask them questions like, have you guys heard of Bored Ape Yacht Club and this and that? And they're like, no. And I'm like, okay, let me try this. Have you heard of Spider-Man? Have you heard of Batman? Have you heard of this? Like, okay, cool. Like you should download veve, download like very simple stuff. And they, they get free tickets from that. Cause I got quite a few tickets to give out, let's say that day.
I think I might do that too. I might buy it. I don't want to buy out like the whole theater, but I don't know. Maybe I'll do that. Just take my friends like, hey guys, I got free tickets.
Go ahead.
I'm jealous because you got double feature for $12.
Yeah, there's 3 theaters next to me, and I was just like looking around a bit where it's like the 2 theaters closest to me were like $18 or $20, but I just looked at another theater that was like a little bit further down, like 3-minute drive further, and it was like $12.50, and I'm like, what? So I was like, might as well. So basically, between me, Dino, and I bought 2 extra tickets for my collectibles because he lives up in Canada, so he's not eligible for the to get the tickets himself. So I was just when I get the promo code, I was just gonna email him the promo code so he could just claim it for the most part. So I think between us 3, we probably rented out like a whole row. And I just checked today, it's still not filled up like at all. Like there's still plenty of seats left. So I'm just not sure how I'm gonna do it. I'm not sure if I want to like post it on like Craigslist or Facebook, but like, hey, like by the way, like I'm giving away free tickets here. Like if you guys want to come, because I feel like if you're going to the movie theater in person, like you already bought tickets ahead of time or you already like have a plan to buy something else. So I'm just not sure I'm going to like hand out the free tickets for the most part.
All right. So got a bunch of people's parents getting in this. Got loading up 2,000 Great British pounds, Great Britain pounds. I guess that's what on GBP, Britain money. I'll just put it as Britain money. Loading up for it. So they're going hard.
Oh yeah. And he's like, so it's basically free money? Or like, yeah, sure, Dad. Just put some money in there. Just go for it.
Damn, Richard got a bunch of sets. How many sets are you at now?
Me?
Oh no, he's talking about seats. Oh my god, this dude bought 62 seats at his local AMC. What the fuck?
Jeez. But the thing is, so there is 3. I'll send you the link if I can find it. But there AMC. He did say that there's 3 different NFTs. Because did you see that? If not, I'll link you the thing that shows.
Well, yeah, you said there's 3 of them.
Yeah, there's 3 of them. So if you look at
link that to me, please.
It says, yeah, it's right here. Here, I'll link it to you in the StreamYard. You have to scroll down a little bit. It's where the FAQ is, and it's the very top one. It's actually like
I think if I click that, I don't know if I'll click it after we're done.
Okay,
and then I'll go to that. So yeah, that'd be.
But it says right here, it's part of the FAQ. It says, "What is AMC exclusive Jurassic Park World Dominion collectible NFT?" It explains what an NFT is. Then it says 3 designs of the AMC exclusive Jurassic Park World Dominion collectible NFT will be available and assigned at random. So 3 designs. Only issue is it's like, are we going to get a drivable T-Rex, or is it going to be a Jurassic Park promotional poster, or could it be a raptor egg, or could it be, no one really knows what it is, but I hope it's like a premium 3D.
They said they'll hatch.
They did say hatch. Maybe that could be like the secret rare. Maybe the secret is like it hatches, or like you get, like a raptor or a T-Rex or something like that.
T-Rex would be great. That'd be amazing if like the longer you hold it, like if you hold it for a year, it grows. Mm-hmm. Like however long you hold it, that'd be so cool.
Mm-hmm. It upgrades somehow. Yeah. I feel like there has to be like some sort of like daily interaction, or maybe some sort of way to like, I don't know why.
Maybe like a happiness scale. Like so for Pokemon, back in the day, the only way you could make your Pokemon happy is by like battling, haircuts, protein, or like vitamins and like Pokemon centers, like potions. That's it. But now it's like you can feed it like so many different things. You can play with your Pokemon physically. So I feel like they could definitely do that, where you could have a happiness scale, and based on the happiness scale, it can grow or evolve on that type of thing. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, I definitely see veve, because we saw with Bored Ape Yacht Club, right? There's like a weird like mutagen thing you can like put on your Bored Ape, and it like turns into like a new NFT. Kind of like to see something like that with certain NFTs where it's like, I mean, they're already doing it right with accessories and such. Like, let's say you get a raptor, like, well, I want the raptor with like the kind of like cool blue stripes, or like kind of like different looking raptor, and you can sell that, get that as an accessory, maybe a master collector program type thing where you can buy it with accessories. Who knows? But yeah, I really hope it's like more of a 3D collectible. But regardless, even then, it's because the first promo that we had was the Spider Buggy comic book thing. But this one is actually the first collectible one that we're getting on the app, which is using through a promotional code, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, so I think that, I mean, there's so many things that they could do. I mean, there's 3 of them, but maybe there's 3 to start. You know how in the first Jurassic movie in this trilogy, they had they said you can combine different DNAs and unlock other people's or other dinosaurs' DNA by like crossbreeding or whatever. That'd be great if you could do that. Yeah, like how you can create your own. And there's only so much that you could do. T-Rex,
I think it'd be cool if these the T-Rex, Velociraptor, and something else. So T-Rex, Velociraptor, and the Brontosaurus, because in the original Jurassic Park, like the long neck dinosaurs, that's the first dinosaur you see in all Jurassic Park. Like before you get to see the raptor eggs or literally anything else, they drive out in the Jeep and I keep wanting to say Dr. Hammond, but I think that's the guy who owns the park.
Yeah, Hammond is the guy.
The guy who owns the park with like the thing. But I would love to, because I remember doing a like community drop for NFTs or like for Jurassic Park. I still made these like win-win day things where it's like, it would be cool if they did Jurassic Park. I think I had the common be like the Brontosaurus. I had the uncommon be the Jurassic Park Jeeps that like were either the gray ones or like the green and yellow ones that were like on the tracks. Of course you have the Raptor, and I said like the secret word could be like the Jurassic Park gates that would like open up. You can like have that be your park. And I'm like, it'd be cool if they did an airdrop that like the people that own the whole set would get airdropped the little amber that has like the mosquito inside.
Oh, that'd be great.
If you own the whole set, you basically own a Jurassic Park, right? Like you own a T-Rex, you own the Brontosaurus, the vehicle, the gates, like you basically own you own a park, right? So it'd be kind of cool if they got airdropped like a little amber with a mosquito inside, and then that's kind of like being Dr. Hammond. I'm like, dude, that'd be sick, but this
when
is promotion.
Shirtless Jeff Goldblum.
Yes, please. I want to see him reenact that whole scene with the water on his hand and all that stuff where he's showing it to the girl. That was kind of funny.
Shirtless Jeff Goldblum, and just I mean, he looked good in Thor Ragnarok. I mean, he wasn't like 30 years ago, but he still looked good. Yeah.
Are you gonna watch the whole movie, the whole Jurassic Park? Because it's 5 hours and 5 minutes.
I don't think I can. I think I would just do the second part. Just go scan my ticket. I don't know. Maybe I'll. It's in June. Maybe my diet will be. I mean, my diet was hecked the last few days because I had I got sick, and I've just been on ginger ale and crackers. I really want spray on cheese. I need to get more crackers, get spray cheese. That's what if I'm gonna break the diet, I might as well go for broke.
Get some nacho fries at Taco Bell. They're back. The nacho fries are back.
If I go down that Taco Bell road, it's not gonna be. It's not gonna. I'll. It's like an addiction. It's like a big addiction where you go and I don't know. It's hard. Like I don't know. Do you have any vices that you're just like, oh, I can't do too much of this?
So it's Taco Bell's kind of one of them. For me, I struggle with this. When I go to Target, they have these bags of sweet potato chips that are just like, it's just a brand of sweet potato like chips or whatever, but it's like just salty enough and it's sweet and it's like not much healthier than like your typical potato chip. But I shit you not, every time I go there, I buy 4 or 5 bags of it, and I probably eat all of them in 3 days. Like I eat
so much sauce.
Yes, like dude, I'm such a just sodium whore. Like I just love that stuff. So like every time I go to Target and I come back, I unload all my groceries. I immediately take out one bag and I eat half it. I'm like, all right, I'm done. And I'll come back an hour later and just down the whole bag. And I'm just like, I need to stop doing this. And I'm trying to keep my diet relatively like low carb. I'm trying to work out. I'll do intermittent fasting where I eat probably around like 11, then stop eating around like 5 or 6 for the day. And then I'll wake up early in the morning and work out on an empty stomach, or I'll like have like black coffee, like no cream. Unless I'm doing leg day, then like maybe I'll have some like oatmeal in the morning, or else I just
leg day you need that.
Yeah, I feel like lightheaded if I do leg day on just coffee. I'm just like I finish my set and like I'm seeing spots and like I'm starting to sweat a lot. I'm like, oh, this is not good.
Yeah, I did some deadlifts on Friday and it was on an empty stomach, and I was like. Well, I was like, if I go down, I'm going all the way down. I can't go down.
Mm-hmm.
So you have you've been in it for a while. About, you don't have to say exact amount if you don't want to. Around how much Omi is in the bag? Is it above or below like 1 million, 5, 10?
None, dude. I have no Omi.
Oh, so you're all in on the collectibles.
Yes. Like, to be honest, like I really wanted to buy Omi like a little while ago, but then it started dipping and I'm like, all right, like market's not looking great. This was like 3 months ago. Like I was probably going to buy roughly around 1 million Omi at the time, like during like late January, early February, but like the market was starting to go down and I was like, maybe I'll just hold off on it for a bit. And then it kept going down and down. I was just procrastinating, to be quite honest. Like I didn't want to set up like the MetaMask and like, the transfer, all that stuff. I was just like, I was honestly just out of sheer laziness that I should have just ended up working out in my favor.
Yeah, now you can buy 3 million Omi.
Yeah, so now I could buy way more. But now more recently, it's like, all right, bat cows are going to expire in what, like 9 hours, 9.5 hours. So I'm just upset I didn't go all in on like HRO with like the digital packs because I bought 2, but I should have bought 10 for $500. And then because when those digital packs went up to like $750, I'm like, that was a good time to sell. I was going to dollar cost. If I had more than 2, I was just going to dollar cost average up and up and up until they were sold. And I'm like, gosh, I could have got, 3, 4, 5 grand cashed out because HRO has a cash out feature. It takes like 3 weeks, but there is a cash out feature. Yeah. And I probably just would have reinvested half into Omi and half into veve and just bought gems. And
makes sense.
But
Danny got himself 4 million more Omi. Get that bread. There's no Action Comics, Justin. There's no. I mean, there might be in the future now that DC's got that 6% coming out. They might be a little more open to it, but there's no, there's not going to be, at least not for a while. I don't think. I haven't checked the Omi price in a while. I think I bought some the other day. I might buy some this week because it was down to 0.00, like 2.3 or whatever. It's 2.0 now. Oh, I got to buy more. It's down to 2.0.
It's back down to 2.0. Yeah.
Yeah, 2.05, but still, it's going down. So that's
jeez. Yeah, that is pretty low. When do you see it doing a reversal? Like when OUP comes out, or
there's a lot of people that are chart readers, and they're like, listen. So there's 2 different groups of people. There's my stock friends that are like, listen, because of like the Fed screwing us on rates and tech stocks missing earnings, we're in for like a big bear market here. Like, okay, I'm not in stocks anymore, so it's fine. And then a bunch of my Bitcoin people are like, listen, Bitcoin's about to get cut in half, going down to like 20K because of X, Y, and Z. And I was like, I don't believe that at all, but this is what these guys do for like a living. And it's like, I guess they would know more, but if that happens, if stocks fall and Bitcoin gets cut in half, Omi can go down to 0.001. I would love it if that were to happen. I don't think it would, but I would love it. Because then you get the burns going on. So for actually turning around, it might be a couple months, even if we get Omi utility. Because I mean, we can get all the utility we want. We can get, if there's no marketing, there's no exchanges. It's going to be a bit harder.
Yeah, because even if Omi turns around and all that stuff, it's like, I feel like unless it's north of a penny, like it'd be really hard for people. Because I think people know the long-term value of Omi, and it'd be so hard for them to like buy stuff now with Omi, right? Like they came out with like Omi to NFT, and let's say Omi was at a penny. It's like, all right, should I just buy this now? Or like, could I just, wait the 2 or 3, 5 years and it goes up much, much higher. Like it could just do a 10, 15, 20, 100X like till then. So that's going to be tough, which is why like for me on Gosh, what's it called? HRO. Like I would sell my cards for Ethereum rather than OMI, because I feel like the OMI people like aren't selling. They're not buying stuff with OMI right now. Like it's just like way too cheap for them to like just get rid of it this cheap.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it. So I can't buy it because like my Bit4X does not work on my phone. It just forces me out. Like I have a couple $100 in Bitcoin that's just sitting there because I can't use it. So I buy it through a friend, the OMI, and I sent him X amount of dollars the other day to get some more OMI. I just texted him now. He's on his way to like Wisconsin sometime this week. He's like, hey, you can't buy OMI in Wisconsin, can you? Because I'll totally send them more money to buy more now. And then if it drops again, I'll buy more again. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, just dollar cost average on your way down.
Well, see, I don't know if it goes down there. It's looking like it might. It's looking like it could do that. But if it does, then I'll just I don't know. I would sell whatever I need to sell. I could sell the rest of my liquor that I'm probably not gonna like. I have Tesla Tequila here. I've even empty bottles of Johnny Walker Blue go for money just because people like the bottle. They like the artwork. Have you ever done anything crazy for selling? Have you ever I'm just gonna be a gigolo for a weekend so I can get this collection?
Thought about it. Being a what's it called? Like a male companion. I think that's the term for it, basically. I don't know. Like I'll be honest. Like I thought about it. I think the hardest part is just like knowing how to like enter that space, right? Or how to like get in connection with people, or how to do all that stuff. I think more recently I've done, or a while ago, I used to do plasma donations and stuff, where it's like you go and you donate plasma and you get money that, it's not donating because you're getting paid to do it.
How much does that pay for plasma? Because that's a lot, right? That's painful.
It's not that. It's no different than just getting your blood drawn, right? Like I'll be honest, like the needle is a bit bigger because they actually return the blood. So like they take out the blood, they put it in a machine and it spins around and does this stuff and it takes out your plasma. Then they return the blood back to your bloodstream because they want you to have the blood back. It's not like they're just taking your blood out. But the place I used to
marrow.
Yeah, you're probably thinking like a marrow.
Yeah, I heard that was really,
bone marrow. But when I went, you got like. Because I used to go to this place called CSL Plasma. They're like all over the US. And I think if you go, like your first 10 visits, you get basically like $100 each, like each visit. And each visit probably takes like an hour and a half, which is, not bad. But then after that, like they really cut it down. It's just like, it goes down to like $50 or something like that, $50 to 60. And then sometimes there's like a long line. So now it's like 2 hours long. And then, but it's nice because you just sit there and you just chill on your phone. You can play the market, watch YouTube videos, watch Randy Chavez stream while you're just hanging out. Like you can do all that stuff. So,
have you seen that episode of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air where they're trying to figure out how to get money, and Will sells his blood? He just like falls on the couch because he's like dead.
Yeah, I did watch a lot of it back in the day. I just don't remember like all the episodes. It's just been so long since I've watched it, but I did think that show was hilarious.
That was so good. That was great. Oh, hi, Crystal Stroud. Meow, meow.
What's up?
Yeah, she's a cool Earth 2 homie. You can definitely buy it. Oh, well, I don't know if he can because he doesn't have his computer there. Have you gotten into any other metaverses?
Not really, because that was some of the questions I was asking earlier about you and Dino, like metaverses and stuff like that. Like, because I watch a little bit of like Decentraland, like on YouTube, and like how that works. Yeah. I was gonna like try and enter in as a guest and just like walk around. It's like, how does land work? Because that's something I asked Trevor. He used to work on the veve team back in the day. I asked him that in like Spaces one day. I'm like, dude, how does like land work? Like, is the veveverse or metaverse going to be literal mega server where you can literally walk from one land to the next and you're just running around, or is it like you connect to a server that just happens to be this person that owns a plot of land, and then you jump in there and there's casinos and tables and whatever that you have going on, and it's like it's slightly different because at that point it's more about exposure. Like, can your server get popular enough to like, because at a certain point, like if any of you guys have played Valve games like Counter-Strike or TF2 or Minecraft or any of those games where there's like a lot of servers, like eventually people gravitate towards like the same servers that are like their favorites because they either like it's like their time zone and there's a lot of people online, or there's some sort of features or something about that server that they like, and they just go back to it over and over and over again. Because I feel like in a lot of people's minds, it's going to be like this giant mega server, and it's like, oh, there's a Disneyland over there, and it's like it could do that, but it's like having thousands of people on like one giant server and hundreds of plots of land. Like, how does that work? Like, hardware wise, software wise, like I don't know. Like, is the technology there?
I mean, if it's all built on the Unity engine and it's interoperable, and that I don't know. I mean, they could have multiple servers, but just all like, you know how people do God, what's that called? Like a Beowulf thing. Like they set up a room with a bunch of computers, and they attack I forget what it's called, but they basically hack into a thing. Like they break through like a code, like an encryption. Maybe they could do that, but the opposite way. Like in the Air Force, we had these guys that they were told to make like this really fast processor, like a supercomputer, and the fastest processors were like the PS4s at the time. So they ordered like 305 PS4s, and they made this giant supercomputer with the fastest processor ever. And then the extra 4 went to themselves because they were working on this whole thing. But maybe they could do that, like have supercomputers and you know, do that for the engine. I mean, they need to have big servers though, because veve by themselves, I don't think they could support that.
Yeah, because there's a video game I play called EVE Online, which is like a very old school MMO game. Like everything's run on one giant mega server. So people literally from all over the world. I literally play with people that are from Italy to Japan to Russia to wherever. And it's like everyone's on one server. There's not like, oh, I connected this server and there's 100 people here and 1,000 people there. It's like, no, it's just one mega server with like 28,000 people all playing at the same time. And how they figured out the whole like preventing the server from crashing thing is like if certain regions have a ton of players that are fighting at once, they just slow down that area to like really, really, really slow to kind of help like keep up with the processing of like all these ships that are shooting each other and stuff, rather than just crashing the server like you would see with like maybe other MMOs where there's like too much stuff going on. They just found like just to slow down this region. So kind of curious how they do it, but after watching Decentraland on YouTube, if I was like a giant whale and I just really just wanted to troll, I would buy a single plot of land, but like every 10 squares. So if anyone that wants to have a plot of land that's like bigger than 10 squares, they have to buy one of my squares. And I'm like, cool, I'm not going to let it go for a big premium, right? And so it's like,
so this is what I was hoping wouldn't happen in the veveverse. Like there's going to be land that people are going to want, and it's going to go for a ton. There's also going to be land in the middle of nowhere, and I was going to buy a bunch of that land in the middle of nowhere and make Chavez Topia. But because of people like you, I won't be able to.
Well, it's kind of like, gosh, what's it called? What's that? Is it a concert or is it a thing where people drive out in like the middle of the desert and they just like get high all the time? What's that called?
Like
it's like an event, or it's like
Burning Man?
Yeah, Burning Man. Or it's like you just go out in the middle of nowhere, just go to Chavez Topia, and then you just get Liddy committee, and you're just like,
I guess I could make a subsection of Chavez Topia for that. Just want to go and like listen to like the Doors or the Beatles and just get out. Yeah, we could do that. That could be fun.
Yeah, everyone goes out there and they wear their whatever they want. But for me, if I could do it, I don't know, if I had a bunch of money, I'd buy certain plots of land, but part of me would also want to buy parts of land in every biome, because I do think there's going to be a point where there might be teleporting technology where it's like, you can either walk all the way to this biome for 20 minutes, or you could take this little teleporter service that will take you there immediately. Me home, what's up? $10. That's awesome.
Me home, my man. Yeah, we're gonna stack, or I'm gonna try as best as we can. Yeah. Did you see what they did on Bored Ape Yacht Club with Yuga Labs and the $100 million in gas fees?
No, I didn't see that.
So Bored Ape Yacht Club had a land sale, and you had to.
Oh, okay, I did hear about that. Yeah, I didn't know about the gas fees, but it's just like, holy moly! I heard the same thing with I think it's the same thing, right? Yeah. Where it's like it was like the gas fees were like 2 ETH to like mint some of the land. It's like,
that was nuts.
Holy shit!
Nuts. Like that. Oh, Ethereum. man, they need Ethereum 2.0 to come out really quickly. And yeah, if they were on Immutable X, there's no gas fees. Like we're on Immutable X, and I cannot wait for Veveverse to come out. And people will be like, oh, how much were the gas fees on this one? None. Yeah. Use layer 2 only. Layer 2 solutions this is the future. This is I think they really screwed the pooch on. Now they made like how many hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars. But a lot of normal people couldn't get in because gas fees were like $8,000. Freaking nuts.
It's just so expensive. But have you ever played any other MMOs like World of Warcraft or anything like that growing up?
I've watched videos on like the WoW funeral and like people leveling up really quickly. But yeah, you were saying on that?
Well, the early days of just YouTube and stuff. Yeah. But there's a service, and like if you're actually a mage in World of Warcraft, especially the early days of World of Warcraft, there was an ability that mages could open up portals to other parts of, land, to other parts of basically the server or other parts of the land. And it's like, cool, like you can either pay me 10 gold and take this portal, or you can walk your ass 35 minutes to go to this region or this biome or this area that you want to quest in. And so that's kind of what I was thinking was like, I might try and buy a piece of land in each biome or each place, not a big piece of land, but it's just enough to where it's like, because I do think at some point there will be some sort of teleporter service to save people time where it's like, all right, if you want to walk up to the mountain biome, you're gonna have to go through the desert and then across this river and then this and this, and it's like gonna take you 45 minutes, or you just take this teleporter, pay a small OMI fee, and then boom, you're there, and now you can go back to your play to earn game or go back to doing whatever, catch this Pokemon or do this. It's like just to save people time, like because there's already people spend a lot of money, because that's really it at the end of the day. When a lot of the quote unquote pay to win games, it's just like pay to save time. At the end of the day, it's like, oh, you get an extra worker, or you train twice as fast, or whatever it is. It's like pay to save time.
Yeah. I think that we have certain things like we have really good options. Like if there's desert land, okay, you would want, your Lion King and Pride Rock stuff on, on that desert, or you would want Elsa in like a, in like a tundra, or if we have, Mortal Kombat, Sub-Zero and Elsa would be really cool. Like, I think that type of stuff would be fun, especially if we have gaming like that. Like your Elsa gets a bonus if she's on, snowy land. That'd be pretty legit.
Yeah, that gamification would be really, really cool. And I could definitely see some, maybe there's someone that does own like a big Arctic region zone or whatever it is. And for Christmas time, they're like, look, if any of you guys have an Elsa or something that's winter or frozen related or adjacent, like if you put it on my land, like I'll pay you a little bit of money just to kind of make it look nice, right? Like there are some people that could actually just like place their NFTs there just to like add to the aesthetic of the place, right? Because I'm assuming that guy's paying an entry fee for people to join into this winter wonderland of NFTs, but he's like, I don't own an Elsa, but if someone does, like, please, can you put it up here so I can stand out from the other places or whatever it is? So I'm really excited for like the renting feature and all that other stuff that's involved.
So we have a tweet from Reverend Alex G. This was a little old, but it kind of confirms, like, this is before the Star Wars thing was announced. Says we have 2 more comics this week. So one is obviously going to be Star Wars on Wednesday. Is Friday's going to be the another Star Wars, or is it going to be? I mean, it's all technically Marvel, so I guess it doesn't.
Yeah, like a comic drop, he said.
Yeah. So the 2 more comics. So obviously one on Wednesday and probably one on Friday.
I think the one on Friday might be first appearance of Doctor Strange. It could be.
That'd be great.
Strange Tales 110, which is a pretty big comic. Like if you
what
look
happens
it up
in that one? I know it's the first appearance of him, but what else happens?
I think he fights another Sorcerer Supreme, I believe. Yeah. Like they're kind of. I think they were. I'm trying to remember like the whole story, but the guy that he fights isn't necessarily like a bad guy, but like him and Doctor Strange just don't necessarily agree on the roles or kind of like the things they should do as Sorcerer Supreme. I think I'm not. It's kind of just a story I heard from a while back, but that's.
So you said that Strange Tales 110 is the first 109. Is that with Agamotto as a Sorcerer Supreme before Strange?
19. I don't know, to be quite honest.
Yeah. So, I mean, you have the ancient one, but you have Agamotto. Like the person that had the Eye of Agamotto was Agamotto beforehand. Mm-hmm. So I was just wondering. I don't know who was the Sorcerer Supreme before Strange was.
Yeah, and like even the MCU is different from the comics. Because I heard like in the comics, there's technically like 3 different like time stones kind of thing, but like MCU just kind of just like, all right, we're just gonna do one time stone. Like we're not have 3 different ones that's divided up, and it's like 3 different kind of pseudo similar powers and stuff. So it's like I think they just streamlined it to make it easier for MCU. So I think I would imagine that for the collectible or any of that stuff, they just streamlined it to match the MCU. But yeah, I mean, the physical comics go for a lot. Strange Tales 110, which, I mean, it's a double-edged sword, right? Because certain comics can only perform as well as their physical counterparts, right? But when we're talking about some of these digital collectibles, you know, something like Walt, where there's no actual sale. I remember you mentioning that.
No.
The upper limit is technically theoretical, right? Like however much people want to spend for it. So it's a double-edged sword where it's like, all right, if you don't get that great of a comic, all right, physically it's limited. Not a lot of people like it. But if you have something that doesn't have a physical price tied to it, technically the upper limit could go as high as it wants. Like there's nothing really tying it down. But then again, it's not secure, right? It's not stable. It's not tied to anything physical. So it's double-edged in my opinion.
Especially when you have people like Dr. Profit that have like 350 waltz, which is nuts.
Yes.
You know, a lot of the supply is already eaten up. You know, like that's like 8% of the supply of a large thing, like by himself, which is insane.
And you know he's just gonna buy more. Like now that it's this low, like it's.
I'm sure.
I'd imagine he's just gonna buy more.
Yeah, I'm sure. Has to. I mean, with prices, I don't know. I mean, the dude's got so much in this. I mean, I imagine he's got to have other moves too. Like he's got to be into everything. You know, Ethereum, Solana, Cardano, Binance Coin, or maybe he thinks that things are going to go down and he sold, or and maybe sitting cash heavy, maybe sitting on a bunch of USDT. I don't know. I'd love to get him on the podcast. He's just a little bit private, so he hasn't done that yet.
And then who knows? Maybe it's up to him at the end of the day whether he wants to divulge his investments and stuff like that. But I'm just kind of curious. Like, I think that a lot of them just like not like maliciously, but just work in the shadows, right? They're like none of them have complained about bots because like they were, dude. If anything, ever since the bots have gotten removed, like with comics, I think the community has actually undercut each other harder than the bots ever did. Like it's kind of crazy when you think of people like, oh, these bots are undercutting each other. I'm like, bots never put comics at like 350. Like I don't think they would ever go lower than like 550. Like they would wait for the floor to actually go up, and then they would put up a wall, and then wait for it to go back up, and then put up another wall. Us humans are just like, I want it now. And there's undercut all the way down to like 350. The common comics, and it's just like, geez. So,
curious to see what they are going to go for in the future.
Yeah, I agree with Waffle here when he says like Friday will probably be the comic for Doctor Strange, and then maybe Saturday will be the FA like Doctor Strange, collectible or whatever.
I can dig that. But if they have the comic there, and if this is probably not going to be the only Star Wars thing, and if it's not, and you have those months like David Hughes saying Star Wars Celebration event, okay, well, when is that? And that's the 26th to the 28th or something. That would be, maybe that's when we get some more. 26th to the 29th. Maybe that's when we get some more Star Wars stuff. So fret not.
Yeah, for sure.
Thousand Secret. I don't know. I don't know what people are going to spend on it. It depends on the mint. I'll do a video on it tomorrow. Some numbers of these prices. We need bots back. 26, 29. There's going to be a lot. Do you think that Star Wars should take over the month, or do you think that, hey, if they have it ready, put some anime in as well?
I would love to see some anime, to be quite honest. I actually did and I don't know if you've seen these, and maybe I'll link it in the group chat at one point. I think I did a while ago. I did, because I basically do like a reenactment if like veve did a drop. I did one of One Punch Man, of like, here's One Punch Man, and I did like, I did what's his name, Saitama, Genos, Speed of Sound Sonic. I had what's his name, Moomin Rider as like the uncommon, like the generic guy who just doesn't have any powers. He's just like super noble and stuff. And then I had what's her name, Miss Tornado as like the secret rare, and the big bad guy is like the ultra rare. Dude, I would love to see anime, but I think this month is going to be pretty tied up with like Doctor Strange, Star Wars. And who knows, like maybe, I'm not sure if veve is cognizant of like not layering too many big IPs like back to back. But
also true. I mean, I think eventually they might have to. They have so many big IPs, and it's gonna have to do it at some point.
Well, which anime would you want to see if they did release one?
I think that start off with something good, but not like the best. Maybe something that like Code Geass is like it's good and people in anime know it, but like the masses don't know it. Like I feel like that, or like maybe like Fairy Tail, or maybe like sort of like nothing like Dragon Ball Z or Pokemon or Sailor Moon. Like that's really really big massive stuff.
So Naruto. I haven't seen those last two. Like I've only started. I was like really into anime. I don't know, 5 years ago, and I watched a ton for like a year. Then I kind of was like, it kind of got to the point where it's like every new anime you started, it kind of like, it was like a part-time job. You're just like, all right, I got to learn the new characters, the new storyline. It's like, oh, okay, like you're gonna like it eventually, but it's like, all right, it's gonna be episode 4 or 5, and like especially some of like the older animes, they do so much filler content, and like the character building is just so slow. Just the storytelling is just it's just an anime of its time, right? The storytelling is just much slower paced at times, and
because like back then there was no other content, so like okay, might as well,
exactly. And because they did do the show recently, I could see them doing like Cowboy Bebop possibly as like as a drop or something, because they had the show not too long ago, which wasn't relatively well received, but it's like a classic anime that some of the hardcore guys would know, but the newer guys wouldn't. I think like My Hero Academia or some of those other ones, or
there's like
too many characters in that.
I listen. Yeah, that's true. There's because they make the whole class useful somehow, and it's like I don't know how the fudge they did that. But yeah, I listen to You Say Run when I run, like din, 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 din. I get so pumped with that. That is like, I will love Dragon Ball Z forever. I got that tattoo of the Royal Saiyan crest, but dude, My Hero Academia is like top, like S tier, so good. It's I love that.
I like Death Note too. Death Note was good. Have you ever seen Berserk? Have you ever seen Berserk?
I've heard of it, but no, I haven't seen it.
I don't know. If people in chat can confirm, I think arguably from a lot of people, it's arguably probably one of the most well-written stories ever made, like in manga. Like it's a story that's been written since like the 80s, and it was still going on. Unfortunately, I forgot his name. I know his last name is like Mira or whatever, but he unfortunately passed away like probably like 6-7 months ago or whatever. And it was just tragic. But if you ever, not even like a spoiler, but like I think Berserk, you ever see those like memes where it's like top 10 anime betrayals when people like put a comment or whatever?
Yeah.
I genuinely think number one is probably Berserk. Like that's one of the biggest betrayals you could probably ever witness.
Okay, so there's two people that are close and someone betrays someone else.
More or less, or some along those lines. But I mean, that's all the anime betrayals and stuff like that. But I would suggest you watch the 1980s. I mean, nothing is ever going to compare to the manga. Everyone's always like, just read the manga. But if you can't buy it, just watch the 90s version of like the anime. Yeah. It's a bit long, but it's a great watch. Yeah, Goblin Slayer, I feel like it's just like a meme. Like it's a good one.
Dude, that was so good. That was And there was like this like dark adult like sex scene. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, like the first 3 minutes of the show. Immediately you go to the room with the goblins and this woman. I'm just like, what is going on? And then the Goblin Slayer guy shows up.
Yeah.
See, Wooba knows what's up. Berserk is one of the best. I agree. I think it's there's like a little tattoo on the back of the main character at a certain point in the thing, and I might he gets one on the back. I think it's on his neck. I might get that on my arm at some point because I have no tattoos, but I totally want to get a sleeve at some point of my arm where I love like space. I love Marvel, so I love D&D and anime. So it's like I want to get like the background would be like what's that?
I got a horse in Japanese because I love Fruits Basket. And there's a character named Rin, and that's why I found out I was born in the year of the horse. And people that they like to run, so I was like, oh, okay, get that.
Year of the Horse is 1990, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's my year too. Is Year of the Horse?
Oh, we're the Year of the Horse.
Yeah, look at us.
A couple of horsies. Nay. Yeah, Attack on Titan is so good.
Mhm.
I was one of Death Note as well. So yeah, there's been a Disney drop every month, I guess, where you had Pixar Pals or Golden Moments. So guess we're gonna have another Disney drop.
Mhm.
You know, Mickey Mouse, whatever.
Yeah, and this was something. Yeah, and this is something I was actually going to do. And I think I brought it up to you like God, like probably 2 or 3 months ago at some point. But I'm actually going to like follow through with it. I was going to do it this month, but I think there's just like too much crazy stuff with like Star Wars and like Doctor Strange and stuff. But I was going to do. I think I told you like a Dungeons and Dragons like group thing. It'd be kind of like a drop in, drop out thing. So it's not like, oh, you have to commit to X amount of months for like a campaign. But I was going to do it with like content creators where we all just play together, probably like every 2 weeks or something like that. You sit down, play for 2 or 3 hours live on stream, and you just play. I've noticed like a lot of different communities tend to do like a D&D or like a Dungeons and Dragons stream. So I feel like something like that, like Taps Trades would probably be really into because he's like a big nerd for that stuff, like EV3, and there's like a handful of other creators. So not inviting you to it. Like I'll definitely like let everyone know like when I'm ready to do it. I'm just kind of curious to see like how many people are actually interested before I like pull the trigger on it. But,
yeah, I feel like Taps to do it. I feel like anyone that's kind of in that nerdy thing. There's like headcanon or there's like fan fiction of the Avengers, like so the Guardians of the Galaxy are really the Avengers playing D&D, and Hulk is always like really busy working on something. So every time it's his turn to talk, it's like I am Groot, and then he keeps on just talking. Yeah, like Thor would be like Star-Lord or something, and yeah, they so it's just them playing.
That's funny. Old school D&D player handbook art would be phenomenal. Only old school players would recognize the old handbook art. Yeah, that was one of the IPs I would like to see on VD, but like D&D, there's not really like characters. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, there is. Like, they're like Drist is like this like dark elf, or technically a not dark elf, God. Not night elf either. God, I'm forgetting the name. There's a term for it. It's been actually a while. So that's like kind of a notable character. There's like a novel series about like his adventures and stuff, but not really. It's kind of hard.
Someone just messaged me saying you can now buy the whole set of villains, the Disney villains, for less than 100 gems.
Yeah, that's nuts to think about. Luckily, I got the ultra rare on drop plus like the Queen and some other one, and so I only had to buy one of them on the secondary market. But which reminds me, how do you feel about? I'm not sure. It's probably because I guess it depends on how much you actually chase stuff in the secondary market. But like, how do you feel about having NFTs basically be reserved when you click on it and like
I hate that. Like, there's if somebody wants to put up like a physical wall and say like, okay, I'm putting 20 of these out there, and they want to manipulate the price that way, I think that's okay because they are running the risk of having their stuff being bought. And they have the risk of it not working, and they're risking something, and it's something that they actually have. These people that are trying to do the reserve it so that they can buy lower or be able to buy higher, whatever it is, they're not risking anything, just messing things up. And veve says it goes against term of service, a bannable offense, so I hope they get banned. That's my thing.
Yeah, we'll see how they actually follow through, because I did it because like the very first drop they did it on, I believe, was the emoji drop or whatever for Disney. Maybe it was a comic drop before that, but I remember like literally when that happened, I'm like, this is ridiculous. It took me so long to buy one of the NFTs, and just the fact that a brand new account with no gems in it, whether you're a bot or a new user, can interact with the market and just gatekeep people with actual gems. Like, I'm like, the level of just like you just mess with the market as a brand new account, it just like boggles my mind. Like, you can have no gems in your account, and you could just, because I actually released 2 videos. One was me kind of complaining about it, about the whole thing. And then I had released another video that was 20 minutes long of me locking up the Queen. I think it was like the Queen NFT or whatever.
Saw that.
And I just locked for 20 minutes. All I did was click. I just kept it locked for 20 minutes until basically people undercut me. And, and another thing you could do too is like, who's to say because honestly, it's pretty easily bottable, right? All you have to do is just like, it's not that hard to script it to be like, all right, click buy now, have it reserved for 2 minutes, click exit, click buy now again. And like, that's all it does. So like, who's to stop someone from basically listing 5 or 6 NFTs, probably 10 or 15% below floor, and just locking those up? Because not that many people, when they try to sell an NFT, they actually look at the market. They just look at the floor price when they like open up their NFT, and they just undercut, right? And so you just buy those again, and then once you're done, you just remove your listings and just pull them out. So it's like, I don't know, it's just, I feel like there's just so many just like weird workarounds, and it's kind of frustrating as a buyer when you're like, oh, look at this listing. Oh, it's locked up. Oh, what about this one? Locked up. And so it feels like it just forces sellers to undercut and buyers to like look higher than the actual floor if they want to buy an NFT, which is kind of obnoxious. So it's like,
I noticed that on the Eye of Agamotto one, I couldn't buy stuff for like forever. I was like, damn, it's taking me forever to buy, you know. But whatever, it'll get better at some point.
Yeah, I really hope they reserve that as a feature for master collector like points. Like if you're above a certain level, you can reserve it, and it's like that way it's not literally every single drop, and any person that creates a new account could just start reserving. It's like, all right, if you reach level 2 or higher, like maybe the top 3 levels for master collector, you can actually reserve a collectible. You can click buy, and then you can reserve it, and then you can like load gems or do whatever. So
cannot wait until they come out with the next OMI utility article saying what like you get for the 50,000 staking tier. Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah.
I will go so hard in that, and I will go and I mean if it's good anyway. I mean if they go and give us like, hey, you get guaranteed spot of land, I'll do it. If it's like you get extra MCP points, I won't do it. I just be like, nah. So Crypto Boy, I was gonna sell it for another Walt, but I just decided not to. I'm just not gonna. Name's Roy. Who is that? Jar Jar.
Jar Jar. Yeah.
But,
I'm just, I mean, there's just a lot of stuff to look forward to on veve. You know, I know a lot of people are complaining of like, why hasn't this happened yet? Why hasn't this happened yet? Like, I understand, and I used to be that guy. Don't get me wrong. Like, I used to be that guy not too long ago where it's like, when is this happening? Why is this taking so long? It's a different topic of conversation. If veve said they were just like never going to do it, they're just like, yeah, we're just not doing this anymore. You know, the most recent example of that is like the reserve wallet, but they kind of gave a good argument. Like it's not going to like really do much. Like, you know, then the buyback, I should say, like the buyback program. It's like, it's not really going to do much. And there's so many different ways they can manipulate OMI to make it much more, just have like more features and more utility to like OMI holders and people that do want to buy it in the future and stuff. So, so it's just a waiting game. Like I'm just excited right now. I'm just honestly in a holding pattern. Like I just don't have the means to put like 5 figures or, you know, 4 figures into veve right now. I'm kind of just leveraging honestly like HRO, maybe bat cows, because I might actually buy 2 bat cows today, one to open and one to keep closed for like a long period of time and just sell it to someone else. Because who knows, like a month from now, someone might be like, oh, I want to be a bat cow owner because all this cool stuff is happening. And I could just sell them the unopened figure, right? Because I do think there's some value to being the original owner of an NFT. Like there's eventually that could add, you know, get some additional value. So
yeah, no, I think so too. I think that eventually, especially if they only sell like, you know, 7,000 or 8,000 mints, and suddenly a year from now, all this cool stuff's happening with it, and then 100,000 people want to get in and they can't because there's only. I think that would be good.
Yeah.
That's what I would. That's what I would think.
And I think it might be just because I'm just kind of self-reflecting on the whole HRO thing. Like, I don't think anyone expected HRO. Like, like digital packs are going for like 880. Like at one point, they just like skyrocketed. I was just like, holy moly! Like, dude, if I bought 10 of these, just 500 into $8,000, like instantly. Just like, holy moly! So like this time around, it's like, all right, I'm going to play a little bit in the middle. I'm going to buy 1 bat cow to hold, potentially sell it. Like, I'm not married to the idea, to be quite honest. Like, I want to open it if it's expensive and nice. Like, I'll probably sell it. Like, we'll see. Like, I'm just kind of utilizing these other platforms as a means to sell to someone that does want to be involved, and then just use that money for OMI or veve. I'm not a huge fan of being in like, I honestly just can't keep up with like multiple projects. Like, I don't know how people are in like 7 or 8 different like NFT projects and stuff at once. I'm just like, I'd rather stick to like 2, like maybe 3, like Illuvium in the future, where it's like, all right, veve, HRO, Illuvium. That's all I'm doing. That's it. And you know,
yeah, I think it's impossible. Even with stocks, like, you know, a buddy of mine said, like, here's like a list of 20 good for long terms. Like 20, like how do you know all these companies intimately? And it's just you can't. You can maybe know a decent amount, more than like your average bear type of deal, but to know like all these you just can't know all these projects intimately. Like, yeah, a couple, 2 or 3, sure. When it gets to like the 7, 8, or like, you know, like a dozen, it's just impossible. You can't keep up with all the news. And so that's why it would serve me well is going all in on certain things. So
yeah, and plus there's value in just sticking to what you know, right? Like it seems like too often in veve people get upset at other people are like, why are you selling this? And like, don't you realize how valuable this is? Like the most recent one, the artist guy, right? Like you guys are all like, you guys have no idea. It's like I get it. Like I get it's valuable, but it's like I would rather just invest things I don't understand, like just really, really well. And like because the thing is like if they came out with Pokemon, let's say like they did a week long, just tons of drops of Pokemon. Like Randy's going to know which ones are going to be the most valuable based on the mints, the character, all that kind of stuff. Like he would just know more. So like he would just know more like what to invest, right? More than like your average person. So it's like, that's why the comic guys, like 90% of their vault is probably comics. Cause that's just what they know. And they just have the leg up because they're just sticking to what they know.
I have a bunch of people saying that they would, like when I go off about Pokemon and I talk like X, Y, and Z, you know, going through all the stuff, a lot of people that don't know too much, they're like, this dude's speaking another language. I don't know anything what he's saying. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to have to make videos, and I'm like kind of dreading this, like Pokemon for beginners. And here's what you need to know. And it won't get a ton of views because most everyone knows at least stuff about Pokemon, but it would have to be for like a good, you know, couple hundred people that don't know anything. It's like, okay, we got this. Like, so it has to be done. But,
well, I remember you said you were planning on doing like an 8-hour stream or something like
that.
I
will do an 8-hour stream with
I didn't even know when I would do this, but I had the thought like last week. I'm like, could I do a 24-hour stream? Like, is that just like too aggressive? I'll probably have to wait till like my roommate like moves out of town, or
you need some Adderall. You need to go and you just like snort some Ritalin and be like, all right, let's go, boys.
I just need something to keep me awake, or but yeah, like I think a Pokemon thing would be cool, kind of like an 8-hour thing, and people can ask questions and stuff. So would it be more about like just understanding the value of like the Pokemons individually as it pertains to like veve, or just like how to play the games and like
it would depend if we get cards or if what we can do with it, if they're just statues, like general popularity, or like if I go live, it would just be like the first like 30 minutes of me being like Charlie Day in that what do you call it, that It's Always Sunny thing, you know, talking about Carol from HR.
All the lines to the pictures. I just do with the crazy face like this, like yeah.
But after that, it would be like, okay, here's the history of the manga, history of the games, history of the Pokemon cards, history of like the actual game in the cards, and it's just the show, like it's going. Yeah, I'm like stressing just thinking about it. Yeah. And then it would just be an AMA, ask whatever you wanted. Kind of similar to like what we're doing now. And then I would have to have people on as well, because talking for 8 hours is not possible. I don't think it's possible for me anymore, because I talk so often. It's just
well, if you do have, and I have no issue just yammering, right? I could talk for quite a while. So if you're ever doing that stream, let me know. I'll be happy to jump on.
I will. I saw Rob's stuff down here before. He could join if he wants. I sent it in that thing, right? In the same thing. You could just scroll up, Rob, and you could totally join. Mm-hmm. So present, the reserve wallet, I don't even know. Circulating is 312 or 314 billion. The circulating that can never go up. All the token unlocks are done. That will never be upped. Will only be burned, which I'm very pumped about. The back cows, they're however many minted is however many there's going to be.
Yeah, and there's not even 10% are done, right? I
haven't checked the last.
Yeah, because 10% is 20,000. So it's like last I checked, it was like almost 10, but that was like this morning. I do think there's going to be a lot of mint today. I do think like people are going to FOMO last couple hours. And we'll get next year.
Minting multiples as well. Yeah. And then they have 6 hours. They have 5 hours 53 minutes. So I got that. So for me, I just do YouTube, and every now and then I'll do like a PI job or whatever. What about you? What's your day job? Are you reckoning the dough?
Right now I'm just working just for myself. I used to work cold calling sales for like 5.5, 6 years, and that just like took a toll on me. I had to work like 3 different jobs, and like I was always good at them, but it was just like I just hated calling business owners and like trying to twist their arm to like buy ads or switch to this service. It's like, which is why like this is perfect for me, because I'm more of a consultant, right? It's like, all right, you have money to invest. Here's the best way to leverage it. Because like every sales job I entered in, I always like within a short amount of time, I always learn the industry knowledge like super quick. Like I could easily assess like what their issue is, what's the perfect solution based on what we have and all that stuff. And like a lot of the sales jobs I had before, it was just like push, like sell the most expensive packages, go, just sell it today. Like don't wait, don't take a call back, which it makes sense. But what I'm doing right now is essentially just working for myself, doing a little bit of DoorDash, make a good, like an okay amount of money through YouTube. And stuff like that, and a few other like small means. But it's like like working like a formal job I don't have right now, for the most part. Which I probably should be making more YouTube content, to be quite honest. But
yeah, I'm trying hard on the YouTube. Just grow the because that'll pay dividends one day. Just going and having a big audience. Get back to MSC until closed cases. Oh, so you'd have to reveal it first.
Yeah. So. Well, thanks for letting me know, because I caught like the very tail end of the AMA, and I asked one of my friends who listened to it, and so he kind of told me it would happen, but he must have missed that part. Yeah, maybe I'll just buy one back. I don't know. Like I thought the value of having a sealed one, it would be very valuable, but it's like if you can't,
sealed product always is.
Yeah, so in that case, I might just buy one and kind of just see what happens and sell it later if it's whatever.
Yeah. So all my Omi's in like 6 different trust wallets, and it'd be stupid to get it in one place, so I'd never show that. That you cannot. Yeah, I know. Somebody after the fit. Yeah, no, you can't. Crypto Cannabis Club. Burn. Yeah, no, they're not. What's up, Rob? I hope you're doing well. Watch those videos. Today's comic common, not under retail. Oh, good. I'm glad they're not. So it's the first comic I bought in a while. It sells for pretty well in the real world. So I'm excited.
Yeah, it's a good comic. It's not. I think they said like a 9.6 or something. Sells for like 5 figures. So it's it's not a comic. It's a good one.
Yeah, it's a really good one. There's over 9,000 that were minted. So good for them. They'll probably hit 10 then. Good for you guys. It's going up. Mom threw away. Oh no, mom threw away Pokemon cards.
And it's always the mom too in all these scenarios.
Yeah,
it's always the mom that tosses it. And
I saw so much of this. I saw this like one pastor was like, oh, the Pokemon's teaching them evolution, and is gonna the devil's trying to get in your child. There's like throw these Pokemon cards away. I was like, oh my god, this is like people really think like this.
Yeah, well, I was raised Catholic which is very strict, very traditional in the sense, and it was. I don't think I met any. There was like a couple parents that were probably like that, just like super strict with just like very Bible thumping and just like really hardcore. My parents were pretty open minded about all that kind of stuff for the most part, and then probably one of my funniest ones, or it was actually I think it was like a YouTube short or maybe like a TikTok or something like that. This guy, I think he was a teacher at a Catholic school or whatever, and he wanted to do like an after school program doing Dungeons and Dragons. And there was like the whole like satanic scare. And I think it was like in the 80s or something like that. People thought it was like worship Satan and like all this because it did have a picture of like a devil on the front. And so he told them like, hey, like I want this after school program. Like I want to get these kids playing Dungeons and Dragons and be kind of cool. And they're like, no, you can't do that. It worships Satan, blah, blah. And he's like, all right. So I guess he came back a week later and he's like, hey, what I want to do is put these kids in like moral scenarios where they try to help the good guys and like get rid of the bad guys, and they try to come up with these decisions and work together as a team. And like, what do you think about that? And they're like, oh, that sounds great. It's like that's basically D&D. It's like you work together as a team and you try to overcome certain scenarios, with moral and ethical dilemmas and stuff. So it's like it's just kind of funny how like just the way you phrase stuff. The veve did that, right? They didn't say NFTs, they said digital collectibles, and that's kind of something more recently I've been doing. When I do tell my friends or people about veve, where it's like, oh, it's digital collectibles. And I try not to focus too much on like, oh, if you want to drop, you just get like $10,000. It's like, of course I was telling all my friends like, dude, I got the Steamboat Willie ultra rare for 60 gems. And now it's worth like $10,000. And like, dude, that's crazy. So it's like, it's probably the wrong way to position veve. Is just like, oh, you put in 60, you get out 10,000. It's like, it's probably not the best way to do it. It's like eventually everyone, and that's the main reason why I centered a lot of my content around the market and stuff, because like at some point like everyone's gonna have to play the secondary market to buy stuff. And with the Q system coming up, which I mean, you personally, do you want the Q system to be here? Because it seems like people aren't really having issues getting collectibles right now, comics or collectibles. is.
I'm not right now. I'm not having any issue, but I think that in the future, people will, because there's what, like 600,000 accounts with more than one collectible, So I think that in the future we'll get this will be overcrowded. We won't be able to get these again, and the queue system would be more fair. So yeah, probably that, and again, it can cut down on bots as well. So.
Yeah, because they did say this month that they're doing a test run, right? They're doing a queue system test, or the queue system, or whatever you want to call it. Not whitelist, but they said the first one is probably going to be a veve logo, right? So I think that veve logo will probably do pretty well. First of all, I'm curious on the box price. This is the first veve memorabilia merchandise that doesn't have like all these probably additional crazy fees and stuff, right? Potentially, like who knows what they're going to do.
Yeah, and it's just straight burn. And there's a straight profit, straight burn. Like it's, can't wait for that.
Yeah. So I might ape into that veve logo a bit. It depends on how many mints and how much the cost is and stuff. Because everyone's going to just get one right. Because you're like that's the whole thing with the queue system. You're guaranteed 0 or 1, and that's it. But with the current system, you can buy 2, 3, 4, 5 comics for the most part. So
there is as far as that, a lot of the modern Pokemon cards are just printed into oblivion. So if you can make money now, just sell it, and then instead of waiting 10, 20 years, use it. Yeah, when Japan, and that'd be great if they mention that like this month, like we're gonna onboard localization next month, or like if they put that in this month's AMA in like 4 weeks, that'd be nuts. I wish they would schedule the videos. Like they don't, like sometimes they'll just upload it like, oh God, I'm doing something, I can't watch this right now.
Yeah.
The queue system will have over 1 billion. The queue system will have over 1 billion points. Yeah, there's going to be a bunch of us that have a bunch of points. How many sets do you have? How many going on?
Oh God, let me look at my phone.
Yeah, I might do that, Frank. I might leave my stream on while I sleep.
Well, my phone was just like ringing off the hooks. I just like tossed it on my bed. But I used to be a big set holder. Then I kind of just went to like, because there's an argument, right? It's like, is it worth it to buy the whole Pixar set, or would you rather just stack 4 Woodies? It's like Woodies is most expensive, right? At least like there was a point where they were kind of like all relatively the same price. So until I see like more of the raw numbers, like don't get me wrong, I'm still very bullish on Master Collector Program, but it's like I want to see more of the raw numbers of like how much does it actually cost for an extra ticket for the drop raffle? Because there's a big difference between 20 points and 200 points, right? Is it really worth buying an extra, let's say, 10 rare comics so you can get an extra 2 tickets a month? Like, is that, and that's just like the really big min-maxing part of me. Like that's the whole like MMO, Dungeons and Dragons, like all that stuff. It's like what's the most amount of benefit I can get out of with the least amount of investment, right? Because there's a certain point where there's diminishing returns, and it's like, all right, now it's not really getting worth it to a certain point. Same thing with like the renting system and all that stuff. So it's like I want to see all the other stuff involved, but at least for sets, I think I have like 3 or 4 sets.
Nice.
Because I think I have some of the easier ones, like the Guernica poster. I have both the plants, and there's like another set that I have. So I don't really have that many sets, because like a lot of the sets I did have, I ended up just like breaking just so I could like buy something else that I wanted more. So it's like, cool, I got the one-time set bonus, and then I just broke the set because it's like, wow, these 3 NFTs out of the 5 are like just completely getting dumpstered on. So it's like, I guess I'll just sell these.
I had there was veve Fox that just made a video that just tracked like the top 100 wallets, and that made me feel like a noob, because they all had like 1,000 collectibles or more. I was like, damn, they went so hard. It's like, oh God, I don't have any of those.
So I got the Disney villains. I got the Valentine's Day golden moments, both the Ukraines, and I had way more prior, but I just, like I said, I just broke the sets. And right now my vault value is probably split 70-30. So like 70% of my value is in collectibles, and then 30% was in comics. Yeah. When before it was probably like 95% collectibles. I had like nothing in comics. And so I started like realizing the value over the last like probably couple months. I started talking with like my collectibles and sleeping in comics more. And I'm like, yeah, there's some good ones here on the app. So.
Yeah. No. I am. This is about like the 5th hour that I just completed between Dino's stream and this stream.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna bounce. But thank you so much for coming on the stream today, and for everyone, thank you for the super chats and everything. What do you got going on the rest of the day?
Rest of the day. Well, I just got back from the gym. I was gonna hit the pool, but then you guys were streaming, so I was like, I could always just hit the pool tomorrow. Yeah. Well, I was gonna make a video like, oh, are we gonna get Star Wars? But like now it's like no question. So now the video is just gonna be like probably covering like the two tweets and then the drop and then some other like speculative stuff. So trying to get more into like doing more videos because I used to do a ton of videos. Now it's been like more live streams because it's honestly a bit more low effort. Doing videos is like I have to like sit down and stick to a topic and like go over it. Even if there's like no editing involved, it can be kind of difficult. So, and plus like videos are really good. At least I found for getting new subscribers. Cause I feel like live streams are very good for like retaining your guys and like building a community, but like videos are good at like getting new subs and like getting new people that are searching on YouTube for stuff. But
yeah, totally.
Yeah. So appreciate you having me on. I'm going to head off.
I'm going to take a nap.
Go for it. Yeah. And I think I'm also on the wall for like another 9 months. Right. So
you're on the wall. Yeah. You're on the wall for a while.
Yeah.
I haven't been, you'll be I think you're on the wall probably for another 10 or 11 months because I haven't been able to charge anyone these past few months because transfers have been off. So I'll everyone's on a pause and I'll restart their time when we can do transfers again. Hopefully soon.
Yeah,
and
hopefully soon.
If not, then I'll just be like you'll be on the wall forever, and then I'll just be like, all right, guys, like $40 a month or something. I don't know.
Yeah, figure it out. Okay. Well, thanks for having me on. Everyone else in chat, thanks for stopping by and supporting Wendy Chavez. We'll catch you guys later. Yeah.